at Gillette Stadium as the Patriots at 4-0 and the Seahawks at 3-1 get set to play. 54 degrees and the wind 15 to 22 miles an hour. And it's going to play havoc perhaps for the place kickers and for the rookie punter, Donnie Jones. Mike Holmgren and his Seahawks have won 2 road games this year. They only won 2 all of last year, and the Seahawks getting the ball first. Maurice Morris returning the opening kickoff from a yard in the end zone, brings it out to the 23-yard line where the Seahawks will go to work. Matt Hasselbeck coming back home from nearby Westwood, Massachusetts, has not thrown a pick in the last 88 attempts. And to take a look at the Seattle offense, which has that great running back and good receivers.
Well, they really do, Dick. Yeah, and that offensive line anchored by Walter Jones, their left tackle. They're going to play a key role in this game, opening up some holes again for Sean Alexander.
From the 22-yard line, and Alexander goes in motion to the left. And Hasselbeck will throw on first down if he can find anyone. He can't, and Willie McGinnis got to him first. You never have that much time to get rid of it, and a loss of 5.
No, and that's the biggest problem. That's something really that Matt Hasselbeck has to do a better job of. The receivers were covered down the field. There was nowhere to go with the ball. New England playing man-to-man coverage, and Matt Hasselbeck realizing that instead of unloading it and just avoiding the sack, he hung on to the ball and put his team at a deficit.
It's the one thing they've been working on with Hasselbeck, trying to get rid of the football quicker. And first play of the game, a big mistake.
17th sack by the Patriots, second in the league. And Hasselbeck trying to get some of those yards back. Swings it out to the fullback, Max Strong, but doesn't get much at that. The Patriots defensively, and this is always the foundation for Bill Belichick's teams, playing the 3-4 base.
And that Vince Wilfork has really been playing better. We saw him last week against the Dolphins play probably his best game of the season.
And Ty Law, of course, the key cornerback. Tyrone Poole's been banged up with a knee. Sean Alexander on the sidelines now. 3rd and 14. Bill Belichick's defense making a statement early. Hasselbeck getting rid of it, and the pass is caught by Corin Robinson, who has been plagued by drop passes last week. Gets 18 yards, silences the crowd with a first down.
And you've got to think that's a huge catch for Corin Robinson. Had a couple of drops in the game last week, and people are really starting to get down on him a little bit. I think he leads the National Football League with most drop passes. And Matt Hasselbeck told us that when a guy gets down, he tries to get him the football early to try and get some confidence going. And if Corin Robinson can get some confidence, he's a talented guy.
In fact, Matt Hasselbeck says, I'd like to make a statement by jumping on the Patriots early. Once again, Alexander in motion to the left. A penalty marker down and getting rid of it and trying to get it to the other wide receiver, Darrell Jackson, but a flag is down. Good pressure that time from Richard Seymour, and this one will go against the Seahawks. Terry McCauley, the official, referee, and his crew today.
Illegal shift, offense, penalties decline, 2 men moving prior to the snap, did not reset for a full second down.
And already what we've seen on the first 2 first down plays is negative plays. The first play, they got the sack, they get the first down, and now they come out and then they have the penalty. And you know, that 3rd down conversion was huge in order to keep this drive going, because that's an area they really struggled in a week ago.
2nd and 10 and 2 tight ends in the game now, and the pitch going to Max Strong, the fullback, and Strong brings it out to the 41-yard line. So after a series of passes early and pass attempts, running the ball and gaining 5.5 yards.
Well, the Seahawks today, knowing how smart this New England defense is and how studied they are coming into a ball game, they wanted to come out early and show them some formation, show them some plays that they had never seen before, and try and establish something right here in the first quarter.
Of course, Romeo Crennel has seen everything over the course of his career. 3rd down and 5. Empty backfield for Hasselbeck, and throws and completes it down the middle to Jeremy Stevens, who is starting to make his mark, and a 1st down into Patriot territory to the 45.
Well, Jeremy Stevens has really become a big weapon for this football team. They've been waiting for him to emerge, and that's what he's been able to do here over the early part of the season. He's working the interior part of the field, and Hasselbeck doing a great job of sliding to his left and finding him. He did, however, have Maurice Morris up the right sideline. We saw him motion out, go to an empty set. They turned him loose. Could have been a big play.
1st down on the 44, and here is Alexander looking for running room, but no hole develops. And Willie McGinnis, the outside linebacker, making the tackle. 2-yard pickup for Alexander, who had a season's high 150 yards in last week's loss to the Rams.
Yeah, that was his 3rd best of his career, and the first time since 1993 that the Seahawks had a 150-yard rusher and lost a football game. Of course, the game such a devastating loss against the Rams that they really had secured in the 4th quarter.
2nd and 9. Deep drop for Hasselbeck, and tries to go outside to Corin Robinson, makes the reception for a minimal gain of 2 yards, bringing up 3rd and long on the 41 of the Patriots.
You know, as we take a look here at Matt Hasselbeck, of course, he's come back home. He grew up here in the Boston area. Everyone was a little bit concerned as to how he was going to be able to come in initially in this game and how he was going to be able to play. A lot of times you get in front of your home crowd, the emotions overwhelm you, and you come in a little overexcited and you start turning the ball and missing guys. He's been very calm and collected so far in this first drive.
And he seemed very calm when we talked to him yesterday. 9th play of the drive. 3rd down and 7. And the pressure is on. The ball is tipped and intercepted. Interception by Willie McGinnis. Richard Seymour got the pressure and deflected the pass. McGinnis took care of the rest, romped 27 yards, and the Patriots threatened in Seattle territory.
And the one thing that Mike Holmgren and Matt Hasselbeck did not want to see today is turnovers. You talk about all the teams that come in here, the Peyton Mannings and all the teams that do such a great job not turning the ball over, and somehow the Patriots make them look bad. Trying to throw the screen back to the left side, Seymour just tips it right up in the air, and McGinnis with a huge play.
Well, how many times have we seen this during their win streak? That's an opportunistic defense, and they take advantage and they capitalize on the mistakes. Ball gets up, McGinnis finds it, and comes down with the interception.
Only the 4th turnover of the year by the Seahawks, and the quick out to David Patton on 1st down, and Patton will get inside the 20 to the 17. Ken Lucas making the tackle, and a 9-yard 1st down play for the Patriots. So Tom Brady, like Matt Hasselbeck, a 6th round draft pick, and Brady, of course, with 2 Super Bowl wins. And the rest of that offensive team limited in the wide receiver area. But, of course, Corey Dillon starting today despite the injured right foot that knocked him out of last week's game. 2nd and 1, and the pitch going to Dillon. 1st down inside the 10. Corey Dillon, a native of Seattle who played at the University of Washington, picks up 9 more for the Patriots.
Well, and this is just an element that Corey Dillon gives this offense that they lacked last year. The offensive line does a good job of getting guys moving, but Corey Dillon is a downhill physical runner, and once he gets space, he's going to run some people over, and he's looking for contact, and he's going to pick up yards as he does here. He's been a great addition to this ball club this season.
Corey Dillon coming over from Cincinnati in a trade which now appears to be a steal for New England. And here is Dillon changing direction, getting close to the goal line, and stopped 2 yards shy. And once again, it was Ken Lucas, the strong safety, after a 7-yard gain.
And that was a play that the Raiders used to run a lot with Marcus Allen, where you make the toss one way and the back never intends to go that way. He simply cuts back against the grain. They're trying to take advantage of Seattle's speed on defense. Watch the interior linebackers take off as soon as they see the toss, and then Dillon just cuts it back the other way. It's down right next to the goal line.
Meanwhile, the Seattle Seahawks are the only team in the NFL who have not allowed any points in the first quarter this year, and that is in jeopardy. The handoff to Dillon. Dillon to the goal line, no signal. and stopped short by the closest of margins, and that will bring up 3rd down and goal.
Well, that's such a great weapon down there when you've got a big physical back that likes to run north and south, as you've got in Corey Dillon. And I would certainly turn around and hand him the ball here. Of course, Daniel Graham, their tight end, has gone 5 consecutive games with a touchdown. Play action here could work very well also.
And Mike Vrabel, the linebacker, is checked in. It doesn't matter because Dillon goes over for the touchdown. Patriots quickly capitalize on the Seahawks turnover and take the lead. Second touchdown on the ground for Dillon, and Mike Holmgren's team faces an early uphill climb.
Well, I'd say Corey Dillon's foot's okay. It was widely reported that Dillon did not practice on Friday, where in fact he did. We were at the practice. We had a full practice, and I think that was Bill Belichick just doing his Bill Belichick thing.
Adam Vinatieri makes it 7-0, so not a great homecoming so far for Matt Hasselbeck. And Willie McGinnis with the pick. Very alert play. Patriots 7-0.
Fox NFL Sundays brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39.
Boot all back across.
Back here at Foxborough, and the New England Patriots take a 7-0 lead. All they needed to go was 26 yards. They did it on 5 plays as Tom Brady trying to lead the Patriots to another win. They have won 19 consecutive games, including 3 playoff encounters last year. And a short kickoff by Vinatieri, and Maurice Morris for his second return of the day brings it out to the 25-yard line, with Robbie Abdullah making the special teams tackle. Good cause for celebration for Corey Dillon and his mates as the Patriots take the early lead. You know, these fans in New England have to be deflated at the plight of the Red Sox, who are down 3-0 to the Yankees. And if anything could give them a big boost early, it would be the Patriots starting out quickly. And the Seahawks first down from the 25, trying to turn the corner to no avail, is Sean Alexander. Well, it's great to be back with you guys, and also great to be back with Pam Oliver.
Great to have you here, Dick, too. It's a full circle kind of day, no matter how you slice it, for Matt Hasselbeck. He grew up just down the road from where we are now. His parents still live in the same house that Matt and his younger brothers grew up in. They were so crazy about the Boston Red Sox, they erected their little mini monster in the backyard. And for Matt to be coming back here, he said, is a great thing. And to represent the road team today, yeah, maybe, Dick, but he's trying to make this a happy homecoming as well.
And he's got to come out of a 7-0 deficit to do it, and he finds Max Strong for the first down as the Seahawks move the chains, which they did in the first series, but mistakes and penalties really did them in.
Yeah, just an unfortunate tip ball that created the interception. But Matt Hasselbeck, in my opinion, has really come into his own. He had an outstanding year last year. Of course, he threw for over 3,800 yards and 26 touchdowns, and he's really picked up this year right where he left off, and he's on to great things. He knows the difference in his game right now is he's got to start winning some championships.
And making good decisions, that's number one. And this one thrown toward the sideline to Sean Alexander. But once again, Patriots are doing something right defensively, and that is upsetting Mr. Hasselbeck.
Yeah, one of the problems that Matt Hasselbeck is going to face, as every quarterback does when you play against the Patriots defense, is these corners and linebackers are so physical at the line of scrimmage that you don't get the typical type of timing route that you would see in the West Coast offense. In other words, you drop back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you release the football, and your wide receiver's not there because they've redirected these receivers at the line of scrimmage.
And I think that's what's creating some of the frustration on his part right now, is these receivers aren't coming back to him.
Maurice Morris off the left side and diving to try to get the first down, maybe short by a half a yard, does not get out of bounds as Roman Pfeiffer and Rodney Harrison combined to make the tackle, nearly 9 yards on the play. Seahawks, as we mentioned last year, won only 2 road games, but they're off to a 2-0 start, and when they make a road trip, it is a long road trip.
Well, and they certainly had a long one to come out here to Massachusetts and play in this one, and surprisingly they didn't fly in until yesterday. Normally when they travel that many time zones, they come in on Friday. Holmgren asked the team, they decided they want to come in the day before.
3rd down and 1, and a flag is down.
Offense, number 37, 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Tough penalty because you need only 1 yard, and now it's a matter of 6.
Just a killer, and the Seahawks are just beating themselves right now. They're making big mistakes, and this is a team that came into this game with only 20 penalties on the entire year, and right now they're just doing foolish things. And to me, that's the biggest thing about the Seahawks that I've yet to see. They have to be able to win those big games. In the playoffs last year against the Packers, they played well, they didn't win. Against the Rams, they played well, but they didn't win. They've got to get over that hurdle.
And this is one of those hurdles.
No question.
And New England right now has their 6 defensive backs in the game called a dime.
And whatever it is, it's confusing the Seahawks, and another false start penalty.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Pro Bowl tackle Walter Jones on that occasion.
Well, it's so hard to simulate the various looks that you're going to get when you're going up against a defense like the New England Patriots. They do so many different things, particularly on 3rd down, and we've talked about it. Bill Belichick is a master at presenting a look that an offense has not seen before. Has nothing to do with him jumping off sides, Walter Jones, but it is loud right now, and it is hard for him to hear.
Well, Troy, they went from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and long. And Hasselbeck on the rollout, and the pass is picked off. It's intercepted. Ty Law with another one.
The one thing that the Seahawks and Matt Hasselbeck was so afraid of was Ty Law running the routes better and quicker than his receivers. You just saw it there.
That was Ty Law's first pick of the year, 36th career, tying him with Raymond Claiborne in Patriot annals. So this is so far a worst-case scenario for the Seattle Seahawks, who had a pretty good string, did Hasselbeck, of no interceptions. But now he's facing New England. 1st down on the 43 of Seattle, and Corey Dillon will go out of bounds, and good extension. Isaiah Kaczynski chases him out, losing a yard.
The interception was really set up by the blitz by Rodney Harrison. He's going to come here. Asante Samuel's going to go back. So I guarantee you Matt Hasselbeck knew the blitz was coming. Rodney Harrison's not coming to the line of scrimmage for no reason whatsoever. Max Strong misses the block and really forces Matt to sort of throw it off his back foot, and Ty Law was all over it.
Well, and the other part of that is Darrell Jackson, the wide receiver. He's got to come back towards the ball. Of course, Ty Law got a tremendous jump on it.
2nd down, and open on the cross is the tight end Daniel Graham. He'll be short of the 1st down by about 4 yards. Anthony Simmons, who had been hurt, making the tackle, as we take a look at the New England Patriots offensive unit. And Joe Andruzzi, who played for Mike Holmgren when Holmgren was in Green Bay, and of course short on receivers. Patton and Gibbons are there, but Troy Brown and Deion Branch inactive once again. 3rd down and 4. Kevin Falk is in the game as a receiver and a running back, and the pass is caught by Kevin Falk. Very valuable, versatile player, giving the Patriots a 1st down inside the 25, with Vieira making the tackle.
And Falk really adds a new dimension to this offense. He's going to come out, and Anthony Simmons is actually going to get a hold on him as he comes out of the backfield. It's just impossible for these linebackers to try and cover up one-on-one against a running back like Kevin Falk. And talk about instant offense. Tom Brady was so thrilled to get Falk back into this offense because he said the more times we throw there, the more big plays we get.
14-yard gain, returning to the lineup last week. Corey Dillon is hemmed in, trying to get away. And got a lot of that back. Dillon ultimately picks up 1 yard on the play. And taking a look at the Seahawks defensive unit. And pretty good defensive ends to start with, Troy.
Well, that is really where it starts, Dick. Of course, Grant Wistrom picked up this year as a free agent, was with the St. Louis Rams last year, and he's been a great addition because he's brought some real energy to this defense, and the rest of these guys have fed off of him.
Trufant and Lucas gotten off to good starts. Lucas with 2 interceptions last week. 2nd down and 9. Brady. And the ball knocked away. Christian Fourier, former Seattle Seahawk, battling with Terrell Vieira. And there was some incidental contact downfield. It'll bring up 3rd down and long at the 22.
Well, and remember last week, Terrell Vieira, he was beaten deep a couple of times in the loss to the Rams. You're going to see Christian Fourier, and Tom Brady does a good job of putting that ball on his back shoulder. He put it the only place he could put it. It was good coverage by Vieira. In fact, Christian Fourier should have actually come down with that reception.
So it's 3rd and 9, and the speedy Bethel Johnson, who was inactive last week, lines up to the bottom of the screen. Out of the shotgun, Brady has time, trying to go to Johnson, and the pass thrown behind him. Incomplete, bringing up 4th down with Ken Lucas on the coverage.
Well, one thing that's clear right now is that New England wants to go down the field. I mean, they're stretching him, trying to get some vertical routes up the seam. We saw 2 consecutive plays. And Charlie Weiss has certainly seen something in this Seattle defense from what happened last week. Remember, the Rams, they took advantage of it going down the field on him in that 4th quarter. And that's what New England's tried to do here in this 1st quarter.
Adam Vinatieri missed his first field goal of the season last week against Miami. This will be a 40-yard attempt. And Vinatieri's kick is good, and the Patriots once again taking advantage of that Seattle turnover, adding 3 more and opening up a 10-0 lead over the Seahawks.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. By Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game. By Levitra, ask your doctor about it today. Levitra, when it counts. And by HP, services and technology help companies face, manage, and love change.
Foliage time in New England. No better time of the year. Beautiful vistas. And we are right smack in the middle of it as the Patriots smack in the middle of a 10-0 run kicking off, and Maurice Morris with his 3rd kickoff return. This time brings it out close to the 30-yard line. 19-yard return, and you've got to think that the Seattle Seahawks have to do something on this offensive sequence. The great baseball month of October continues on Fox. After this one, the Cardinals and Astros in Game 4. Astros getting that win in Houston last night. That'll be at 4 o'clock, and the Yankees will try to sweep the Red Sox. Imagine at Fenway Park tonight, 7:30, and I wonder if Paul Revere knows the plight the Red Sox are in. The fans are great fans, never give up. Well, their team here is leading 10-0, and Sean Alexander with the fake, and the flag is down, and the pass incomplete, intended for Corin Robinson, but there's a penalty marker thrown upfield, and it'll go against the Seahawks. Offensive pass interference.
Pass interference, offense, number 81, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, and that's the 2nd time now that we've seen New England Patriot defenders jumping on routes. And you're going to see Corin Robinson here. He's working against Tyrone Poole. And he's going to, you know, they see the arm extended. It did not look like he really did anything or pushed off with that arm. But when the official sees the arm extended, it's going to go against the offense right there. If I'm Mike Holmgren, I'm taking a shot down the field, trying to put some kind of move down the field.
That should have been a no call.
Tell you what, to say the Patriots are blanketing the Seahawks would be an understatement, as Alexander charges up the middle and gets to the 26, a gain of 7 with Teddy Bruschi in there.
Well, there's at least one guy that's been playing out here so far for the Seahawks, maybe the only one. Heath Evans, on 2 straight kickoffs now, has just taken out Dexter Reed. I don't know if he has something personal against him or not, but back-to-back shots, knockout shots, and Dexter Reed, it was sort of like getting hit as hard as some of his Red Sox pitchers last night.
We hope it's nothing personal. 2nd and 13. Hasselbeck on the slant, completes to Corin Robinson, shy of the 35. And for a game break, let's go out to Los Angeles and welcome Jeannie Zelasco.
Well, it is a rematch of last season's NFC Championship game. Some faces change. Will the outcome be the same? Not if Terrell Owens has anything to say about it. Comes up with a 53-yard reception. It sets up this. Dorsey Levens, a 1-yard run. 10-zip Philly.
Well, you guys saw how beaten up Carolina was last week. Denver.
I'm just still amazed at the impact that Terrell Owens has had and the chemistry him and Donovan have shown this early in the season.
3rd down and 4, and the crowd is full throat as Hasselbeck gets some time and going deep for the running back, Maurice Mars, but he was covered by Ty Law, who already has an interception. And once again, Mike Holmgren's Seahawks guys are plagued by penalties and mistakes, have to kick it away. Chris.
You know, they just aren't ready for prime time is the way that it looks out here right now. They have just simply beaten themselves, and that was pretty good pass protection that time by the Seahawks, but they are getting destroyed down the field. These receivers so far have been absolutely no match for the Patriots secondary.
And the rookie punter Donnie Jones will have to kick it away. Tom Ruin suffered an injury last week, unable to go. Ruin with a strained hamstring in the 4th quarter, and that play is blown dead.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 42, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Troy, this team is totally out of sync right now.
There's no question about it, Dick. I mean, they've had penalties, they've had mistakes, they've had the turnovers. I mean, it's just not the way that you can come in against a good football team on the road and expect to compete.
And the one thing that we're seeing out of the Patriots is they came after Donnie Jones. This is his first kick in the National Football League, and they're going to check him out. Now it looks like they're going to drop back and try a return.
4 penalties against the Seahawks, none against New England. And here is Donnie Jones, the rookie from LSU, and the fair catch by Kevin Falk. And the Patriots have pretty good field position, leading 10-0, and Tom Brady coming back to lead the Patriots. Mr. Clutch already with 2 Super Bowls in his back pocket.
Well, he's had an outstanding career for just being his 3rd year or 4th year as the starter, and you know he's a really well-respected guy on this football team, and the numbers speak for themselves, and the fact that he's been able to go out and win football games, which is ultimately the way I believe every quarterback should be judged. But I know Friday afternoon I happened to go wander through the locker room, and there was Tom Brady, and they're playing dominoes and backgammon with the linemen and his wide receivers, and he's just one of the guys. I mean, he has not changed over the years with the success that he's had.
He does not put himself on a pedestal, treats everyone equally. And there is Brady's pass, and caught by David Gibbons, and the run after the catch. So now, Chris, Seattle's not even tackling that well.
No, they're not playing well at all. I don't know if they have the hangover from the Rams game a week ago or exactly what's up with this team. But they have a great feel, New England does, on the offensive side about the Seattle defense. They know they're going to come out and play zone on 1st and 2nd down. So what Tom Brady is doing is just raising up and hitting some quick throws to the wide receivers and allowing them to work one-on-one, break some tackles, make some plays. Total domination so far by the Patriots.
And the 17-yard play ending the 1st quarter with the score, the Patriots 10 and the Seahawks nothing. The NFL on Fox will continue after these messages. Well, you don't want to go on the road like the Seahawks are, having to face the Patriots with 2 interceptions, penalties, and sacks. And now New England at midfield. Good field position. 1st down. Plenty of time for Brady, and nearly dropping the pass, but holding on was David Patton. And a 1st down, picking up 13 to the 37.
Well, they're able to pick up the 1st down to Patton, but they had David Gibbons going on a deep post. You're going to see him going across the screen here across the top, and there was no middle safety. Tom Brady missed that one. He's just trying to, in that situation, thinking about the 1st down, but here's the look. And he had the whole field out in front of him to throw that ball.
You know, the difference is when the Pats have a bad play, they pick up 13 yards.
And here's Corey Dillon off the left side. Corey Dillon putting a charge in it, and gets another first down. All this guy ever wanted to do, Chris, was to play on a winning team.
That's absolutely right. He came out with a reputation out of Cincinnati as being a malcontent, and at one point in Cincinnati said, "I'd rather flip hamburgers than play for this football team." He was so frustrated with the losing, but I had a chance to talk to him earlier this week, and I said, "Do you like it here?" And he gave me one of those, "Do I like it here? Are you out of your mind?" So sort of like I'd asked a kid whether he liked ice cream or not. So he could not be happier. And I think that over the course of this season, that Corey Dillon is going to be a huge difference maker here.
He is already 15 yards, as you see, the offensive leader so far in this game. Pass complete to Kevin Falk underneath, and close to another first down. But the way this game is shaped up, Troy, the two big plays have been the turnovers committed against Seattle.
Yeah, they really have, because they've given New England a short field, and that one's certainly not Matt Hasselbeck's fault. But if you go back to that first drive, when they were moving the ball, Seattle came out and was having success. They were picking up first downs, they were completing passes, and then because of the tip ball on the screen play, I mean, all of a sudden the momentum changes and it goes right back into New England's favor, and Seattle has not been able to recover.
And what a great advantage when you get that many points off of takeaways. And now measuring to see whether Dillon had the first down. He does. Everything going the Patriots' way on a glorious autumn afternoon in New England, and it'll be first down on the 13 of the Seahawks.
And the thing about it is that for Seattle, the area where they had been very good was protecting the football. They had not turned the ball over much in the early part of this season, and so to come into a big game like this, a lot on the line, to already have two in the first half is really demoralizing.
First down on the 13. Dillon, big hole. Gets about 7 yards on the play, with Vieira making the tackle. So many ways to win, and that's what we said at the outset. They beat you so many ways.
Oh, my goodness. And then you add Corey Dillon to the mix of 2 world championships. Watch Daniel Graham, I believe this is him right here, come inside and just take his guy and completely bury him. That is a big old rookie. Marcus Tubbs, 320 pounds, never saw it coming and ended up on his backside.
And a timeout called by the Patriots, leading 10-0 and charging for more.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Ford. 6 all-new vehicles, each built for the road ahead. By McDonald's. By Net Zero, access for all. Go to netzero.com. And by Dockers, pro-style shirt and pants that do it all.
Well, the Seahawks really playing on half a field. Look, 234 plus minutes. Pretty good job. And then 33 in the last 26 minutes. You know, coming in the game, they still had allowed fewer points than anyone in the league, even with that collapse last week. Second down and 3 on the 6. And the quick out to David Patton, who walks in for the touchdown. Patriots making it look easy. Now lead it 16-0.
Well, you go back and you take a look. Ken Lucas, he's playing 7-8 yards off of him. Why not put the ball in Patton's hands? A good runner after the catch. Make it one-on-one. Nice job by the New England Patriots getting it in his hands. Ken Lucas has got to be able to come up and make that tackle. But more importantly, you can't give that kind of cushion down in the red zone.
Adam Vinatieri makes it 17-0. And this is a big test for Seattle. They want to be legitimate NFC contenders. They've got to look better than this. Patriots have been operating on a short field against these Seahawks in this game and have a 17-0 lead. And unlike and uncharacteristic to what the Seahawks have played in the first half so far this year, Brady was perfect on the drive. Patton caught the pass. Corey Dillon came in the game averaging 5 yards a carry. He is right now averaging 5 yards a carry. Maurice Morris again getting a lot of work as a kickoff returner, brings it out to the 25. Pam, what do you have?
Hey, Dick, I've been watching Seattle the entire game from here on the sideline, and what you're not getting is a very emotion-filled team. In fact, I would use the word listless to describe them. Of course, it's not helping that New England's pretty much able to do whatever they want to so far, but Seattle, I tell you, is responding almost by scratching their collective heads. Back to you.
You know, when you talk to their players last night, and they all said the same thing, that they were over what happened last week. They were ready and eager to come out here and perform in this game. But the way that they've performed so far, you wonder how much last week's game has affected them.
You wonder is right. See how they respond down by 17. Bobby Ingram, always a reliable receiver for Mike Holmgren, gets close to the first down. And next week's action on the Fox pregame show, 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific, Falcons and Chiefs, and the rest of the early games, Cowboys and Packers. A great rivalry over the years. Lead the second game as we have a first down by Seattle. They have picked up first downs, but haven't sustained anything thus far. Hasselbeck going downfield, and a leaping play, and unable to hold on was Corin Robinson. He did not have control as he came down. Looked like he was going to make the catch, Chris.
Yeah, that's the one vulnerability that we've seen out of this New England defense this year is the deep throw, and they had this one set up. Corin Robinson, for some reason, is going to try and make an overhand catch on this one, where if you just sort of stick your hands out the other way and cradle it, you can bring it back into your body. Even if you hit the ground, it's not going to be jarred loose. I just think Corin Robinson is in a little bit of a funk right now and not making very good decisions catching the football.
2nd and 10, they go to Sean Alexander. Alexander picking up good yardage on the play, and right now for a game break, let's check in again with Jeannie Zelasco in LA.
At the Meadowlands, Tim Rattay room to move, but check out Brandon Lloyd. Wide open on 3rd and 9. It's the first touchdown in the first quarter for the Niners this season.
How about that one?
That would be a shocker.
3rd down and 3. Seahawks on their own 44. They line up Max Strong as the back. Hasselbeck pumps once, finds an open receiver, Darrell Jackson, downfield, who falls down on his own accord, was not tackled, and inside the 20-yard line, and the biggest gain of the day for the Seahawks, 38 yards.
Well, and the reason was there was a bust there in the coverage. You're going to see Darrell Jackson. They turn him loose, and that just does not happen very often with this New England defense. And fortunately for Seattle, they were able to take advantage of that. You talk about the 3rd downs, them converting on 3rd down there, and those 3rd down conversions become extremely big in a big game like this, keeping drives alive and then ultimately coming away with points.
From the 18, Hasselbeck double pumps, Corin Robinson off his hands, and well covered in the corner of the end zone.
It was well covered, but I'll tell you what, Dick, Matt Hasselbeck puts this ball the only place you can put it. This should have been a touchdown. Corin Robinson already has made his presence felt, and not in a positive way. He had a chance up the sideline for a big play, didn't pull that one in. Here's a pass up high that he's got a chance to bring in as well, and those are the plays right now that Seattle's missing. They're not converting on the opportunities they have.
And one thing that they know about New England's defense is they read routes. Going to be a lot of double moves just like this one in the red zone.
2nd and 10, and the handoff to Max Strong, and Strong getting to the 15-yard line.
You know, you go back to them not making the plays. Got a little scrum out there on the field, but you know, you talk about Seattle not coming down with the play, and really it has not been just in this game. I mean, this is something that's been occurring throughout the season. In fact, talking to offensive coordinator Gil Haskell prior to the game, he said the thing that we've not done a very good job of, when we have an opportunity to make a big play and make the catch, even with good coverage, we haven't been able to do that, and they haven't done it again here today.
3rd down and 6. Hasselbeck has time, and the pass is caught and now incomplete, and it was nearly intercepted. Bobby Ingram fighting with Asante Samuel for the ball. Samuel had a chance to knock it away, and it goes incomplete. 4th down, and the field goal team comes in.
Yeah, and I think that's more on more on Matt Hasselbeck, as you'll see the defender was over the top, and if he puts it on his back shoulder, Samuel 22 is out in front and has position, so you can't lead then the receiver across the field. If Hasselbeck throws that on the back shoulder, Ingram pulls up and it's an easy completion.
And Ingram was trying to say that to his quarterback. You could see that he started to arrow back out of it, but Hasselbeck threw it in front.
And Hasselbeck, the new holder, as Ruin normally does that duty. Josh Brown kicking the 33-yard field goal, and Hasselbeck, who held for the place kicks 2 years ago, does it here. Seattle finally scores. Back here at Gillette Stadium, you're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in 720p and Dolby 5.1, the world's finest high-definition standard. Well, the Seahawks finally get something going, but trail 17-3. 9:35 to go in the second. Josh Brown will be kicking off. Bethel Johnson and Kevin Falk, both deep for New England. A short kick. And Bethel Johnson, one of the better kick returners in the AFC, runs into a stone wall at the 28-yard line. Nico Kudavides making the stop.
Let's go back to the play now. Bobby Ingram right here is going to try and send a signal to Matt Hasselbeck. Right there when Asante Samuel tries to cut him off, Ingram is trying to say, I want to come back this way, or at least throw it on the back shoulder. But by that time, Hasselbeck had already made up his mind to throw it in front. Just missed time between and miscommunication between quarterback and receiver on that one.
Patriots will start from the 28. Play action. Caught at the 30 by Daniel Graham, and the tight end picking up 4 or 5 yards with Ken Hamlin, the free safety, making the tackle. Patrick Pass, the starting fullback for New England, suffering a leg injury. His return is probable.
You know, you watch Tom Brady play, and the thing that's so, impressive to me watching him is that he really does not force throws. I mean, he's very disciplined in his ability to drop back and just take what the defense has given him, and we've seen that time and time again in this game.
Changing the call here. On 2nd and 6. Pressure put on. Brady gets hit, and down he goes. And very lucky that he did not lose the ball, and that might have been a fumble. A 7-yard loss, and Chike O'Keefer coming up from defensive end to get the sack.
Tom Brady is going to see this blitz coming. They're going to start to bring people up this way, and he sees it, and he's going to go to the audible. And I thought maybe Seattle would check back out of it, but they didn't. They came with the blitz anyway and still managed to get the pressure there. Nice job by Seattle defensively, trying to ratchet up a little pressure.
A rare 3rd and long situation for New England. 3rd down and 13. Brady with a designed rollout gets hit, but the pass is caught, and it'll be a 1st down. David Patton, who moments ago caught a touchdown pass, and Brady hung in there against the pressure.
Well, a good job picking up Terrell Vieira. He's blitzing the safety for Seattle's coming off the edge, and New England picks him up. As you're going to see, Daniel Graham stones him, and it gives Brady some time to step up in the pocket, and he still winds up taking a pretty good blow. But then watch Patton on the other end of it. Double move up the field. He gets him running. And Marcus Trufant, 2nd-year player, and just a good job coming out of the break.
David Patton's putting on a clinic out here so far for these young DBs.
This is a team short-handed at receiver. Corey Dillon trying to get back and get a couple of yards, and does, as the Seahawks miss an opportunity to cut him down for a loss. He ends up getting 3 yards on the play. And speaking of Brady, of course, he had 4 stitches in his chin, and his lip was swollen after a hit of last week. So this has been a rough year for him.
The teenage girls everywhere cried a tear when that good-looking face got a little boo-boo on it. Matinee idol, Tom Brady.
Handles it well, doesn't he?
Sure does. Class act.
2nd and 7. Dillon. 1st down. Corey Dillon gets a first down to the Seahawk 45-yard line. And how well is Charlie Weiss mixing the plays here?
Well, I'll tell you, and how well is Daniel Graham blocking as a tight end, which he's given him the wham block, which allows the Corey Dillon to get up inside. He's on the wing, and he's going to come down, as you're going to see, and he's going to take out the defensive tackle right there, and that's what opens up the hole. And we've seen that time and time again, and he's a big guy, and he's doing a great job in the running game, opening up some holes.
The other thing that does is it makes those defensive linemen tentative coming through there and rushing the passer because they don't know where they're going to get hit from.
And a lot of the Seattle defense has been tentative as Kevin Falk, who can catch, he can block, all-round back for Bill Belichick, who called him maybe the best all-round team player I have. Charlie Weiss matching wits on the left, the offensive coordinator for New England, with Ray Rhodes, the defensive coordinator for Seattle.
And you just have to wonder how much longer Charlie Weiss is going to be with the New England Patriots. A guy that can put together these types of game plans generally gets a head coaching opportunity somewhere.
Second down and 4, and on the delay, here's Falk, tripped up, and preventing the first down was Antonio Cochran with a good tackle, limiting Falk to 1.
Yeah, it really was, because if Antonio Cochran doesn't make that tackle, Falk is off and running. There was nobody out there in front of him. In fact, he might even score. So a good open field tackle by Antonio Cochran.
Really a big play right now for Seattle. They have to do something to turn this momentum, and should they be able to make this stop here, it would force New England to punt the football and at least have something positive. And it looks like maybe Corey Dillon, something wrong with his shoulder.
Defensive player Dan Klecko is into the game offensively. He already has paid dividends this year. And here is the pass to Klecko. Klecko wide open, has the first down and out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Bill Belichick will do that, won't he?
Yeah, you didn't know he had hands, did you, Dick? Yeah, Dan Klecko, who's a defensive lineman, they put him in at fullback in short yardage situations, sometimes third downs, and you're going to see him at fullback. He comes out. They think he's going to block. And, of course, why wouldn't they let him run open? Who's going to think a 270-pounder is going to be catching the ball out in the flat?
I think Dan could start at wideout for Seattle.
11-yard pickup, and New England has 11 first downs. No sarcasm here, Chris.
Oh, sorry.
First down at the 28-yard line, but I get your drift.
I think he meant it.
I think you're right. Wide open. And a drop pass by Christian Fourier. He was wide open and has caught Seahawk disease with that drop, Chris.
Yeah, and I tell you, you end up switching positions with Dan Klecko. You keep dropping them like that, that'd make you a defensive lineman.
We're going to see where Brady throws it. He throws it expecting Christian Fourier to take more of the middle. Instead, Christian Fourier stayed up more in the seam, and that's why it appeared to be a more difficult catch than what it should have been. Tom wants to bring him inside. And still yet, it should have been a ball that he catches.
Ball is on the 28 of the Seahawks. Second down and 10. Play action. Brady goes the other way to Kevin Falk. And a good tackle once again by the Seattle defense, this time by the free safety Ken Hamlin. And a loss of 1 on the play will bring up third down and 11.
What a huge play that time by Ken Hamlin, and maybe that can finally jumpstart this Seattle defense. I mean, he's in the open field with one of the best open field runners in the game, Kevin Falk, and somehow one-on-one with a blocker right beside him, he's able to make that tackle. That was going to be a touchdown if he doesn't make that play.
Third and 11, and in Vinatieri's field goal range right now. This is the 11th play of the drive. Handoff to Falk. And you can see that the Patriots were setting this up for a Vinatieri three-pointer. They'll take the 8 yards up the middle with fourth down coming up. And here comes Adam Vinatieri, who already has kicked a 40-yard field goal.
Yeah, not a bad call there by offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss. Spread them out, go to a spread offense, and then hand it off, and hopefully you're able to pick up the first down. If not, at least you get some more yards for your field goal team.
This will be a 39-yarder. Holding is the punter, Josh Miller. And Adam Vinatieri, who knows what pressure is like, in a big way, kicks his second field goal of the game. And the Patriots now lead the Seahawks 20-3. Well, the Patriots get the 3 after Seattle got the 3, so it's still a 17-point lead, 3:07 remaining in the first half. And Adam Vinatieri set to kick off to Maurice Morris, who should get time and a half for all his kick returns, overtime. He's been a busy man. Starts from the 8-yard line and seems to be getting better with age as he brings it out to the 37-yard line. Well, homecoming not only for Matt Hasselbeck but for Howie Long. After spending his childhood in Charlestown, Mass., Howie Long moved to the Boston suburb of Milford, 20 miles outside of Boston. He attended Milford High School, where he played track, basketball, and football. This is this is your life. He was inducted into the Milford High School Sports Hall of Fame in 2001. And of course, he is here today with the rest of our crew. And Howie Long, who yesterday was up there, what a great fan, in the green monster seats when the Red Sox were taking a thrashing from the Yankees. Sean Alexander on first down is knocked back after a 1-yard pickup. Good play by Teddy Bruschi. And want to remind you, as you see the gang getting ready, coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Jimmy, and Howie with the scores and highlights, and the Fox Sports ticker keeping you up to date with this latest in stats.
How do you think Howie went from that big full head of hair, that whole 70s thing look, and to the crew cut?
You read my mind.
Usually you go the other way, right? You go when you're a kid, you have the crew cut, and then you get a little hipper as you go. He sort of regressed.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him without the crew cut.
You guys are picking on Howie.
Because he's across the parking lot. We can afford to.
And Corin Robinson drops another. He had 6 drops in the season coming into this game, and that would have been a first down into New England territory. But he could not hold on.
Dick, it's just absolutely deflating for a football team, demoralizing in that regard, and that when you get a chance to pick up a first down and get a play against an outstanding defensive football team and to continually have drop balls, it just takes all the air out of the sails for an offensive team.
He had a drop in the 4th quarter I thought cost his team the ball game last week, and he's not watching the ball.
That's 2 already in this game, so it's 3rd down and 9, and Hasselbeck in traffic, trying to get out and make something out of nothing, and Bobby Ingram with the catch to the Patriot 49, and that was a terrific play by Matt Hasselbeck.
You know, absolutely remarkable. Every once in a while you see something out of Matt Hasselbeck and you see greatness. On a play like that, that was Matt Hasselbeck at his very best and potentially great.
2-minute warning. What a magician.
Corin Robinson right now is like a golfer with the yips. Watch his head as the ball comes into his hands. His head is going to turn and look to see where he can run with the football right before it gets into his hands, and that's causing him to drop these passes, and they are big pivotal plays in the ball game, and he is their big play threat. And if he doesn't get out of this funk, I don't think Seattle has much of a chance of a comeback.
Patriots have only 1 defensive lineman, and that is Seymour in the middle, and the handoff to Sean Alexander. So that's something that Romeo Crennel will always do to mix it up. He had 1 defensive lineman, a 4-yard gain with Mike Vrabel on the tackle.
You know, I thought it was interesting, Chris, when we talked to Mike Holmgren last night. We said, at what point do you put Corin Robinson on the bench if he's not catching the ball? And he, ultimately becomes a liability. But the fact remains that he is a big play receiver for them when he does catch the ball, and that time hasn't yet come.
And Hasselbeck says, I don't want him to lose his confidence, so I won't get on him too much. 2nd down. And the pass is caught shy of the first down by a yard by Darrell Jackson, and it stops the clock with 1:21 remaining.
And Troy, just to finish the point, Mike Holmgren really felt like that if he didn't play Corin Robinson, he'd have somebody sitting on the bench with a touchdown potential.
Yeah, that was look at there at Jeremy Stevens. Matt Hasselbeck had a chance to get the ball into his hands over the middle of the field, just did not see him, but they turned him loose.
3rd down and 2. And Hasselbeck completes the pass, 1st down. to Jeremy Stevens. Well, he didn't catch him then. He's got him now, and a 13-yard gain and a first down and a timeout called by the Seahawks. They're still looking for their first touchdown of the game with 1:10 remaining in the first half. Each team has 2 timeouts left, Troy, and I think it's imperative for Seattle not to get into the intermission down 20-3, considering where they have the ball.
Well, they are in field goal range right now, but they cannot be thinking field goal at all, and I know that they're not. They have to come away with a touchdown here with 2 timeouts, a lot of time. They can still put the ball down the middle of the field.
From the 28, Hasselbeck quickly drills it incomplete. And that time it was Stevens, the tight end.
You know, it's really amazing. They're just not making plays, and they're making mistakes. This is a better football team than this. You could watch them in any one of their first 4 games. They're better than what they're doing. The yardage in this game is exactly the same, 167, 164, and yet it's the mistakes, it's the nervousness, it's the hangover from the Rams game. I don't know, it's something, but this is not Seahawk football.
Well, yardage the same, so's the time of possession practically. 2nd and 10. Hasselbeck short drop, and that one was going right into the hands of Ty Law. So Ty Law dropped a sure interception with the receiver trailing behind him. Darrell Jackson not even that close.
Well, yeah, and that was just a miscommunication on Matt Hasselbeck and Darrell Jackson. He's going to come here on the post, or at least Matt Hasselbeck thinks that's what he's going to do, so he turns it loose. And he just didn't, he let him too much, really, is what Matt Hasselbeck did. But if you can see Ty Law, he's reading the quarterback the entire way. So Darrell Jackson doesn't see the ball come out of Hasselbeck's hands. Ty Law does. He has a chance to come up and make the interception.
And once again, Ty Law breaking on the ball before the receiver is coming out of his route. It's amazing how smart a corner he is.
And a timeout called by the Seahawks. They have 1 left. We'll be right back. Well, the Patriots taking advantage of 2 turnovers. Interception by Willie McGinnis, and then by Ty Law, moved out in front 10-0, added another touchdown. Seahawks and Patriots have exchanged field goals, and now Seattle wants to get the last statement in at the end of the half. 3rd and 10 on the 28. And now New England will use a timeout.
Second charge timeout.
And they have 1 remaining. And baseball, of course, coming up after this game. It'll be the Cardinals and the Astros. Jason Marquis, Roy Oswalt will be the starters, as Roger Clemens won a big one yesterday. That's game 4. Game 4 as well tonight at Fenway Park, as the Red Sox try to stay alive, trailing the Yankees 3-0. That's Fenway Park, about 30 miles northeast of here.
Yeah, and I thought I was going to get a chance to see it. In fact, both of us, Chris, we thought we were going to get a chance to see it for the first time Friday night.
I went Friday night.
Yeah, you went to see your old friends, but you didn't see the baseball game.
I saw Joe and I saw Tim.
Gene Kelly singing in the rain over there. Maybe this Patriots team can go try on the Yankees. Why not? They're not going to be too tired.
These are great sports fans here, and they're licking their wounds right now, hoping the Red Sox can just stay alive, but enjoying 2 World Championship banners and a Patriot lead here. 3rd down and 10. Each team with 1 timeout left. Hasselbeck swings it out to Sean Alexander. He will not get the first down and does not get out of bounds, so the clock continues to run. Ty Law makes the play.
Well, great job by Bill Belichick showing blitz, and then they only rush 3 guys, so they drop him out, and that's why he has time to throw, but he has nowhere to throw it. He has to come underneath. Good job keeping them from getting the first down, making them have to make a decision on the field goal.
And Josh Brown coming in, and the Patriots call a timeout. That is their final timeout of this first half, and it comes with 39 ticks left.
One of the things that make the Patriots so great is watch this team tackling. Ty Law is going to take the outside. Asante Samuel is going to take the inside. They don't overreact. They do that on the defensive side of the ball as well. One of the problems they had with number 75, Vince Wolford, as a rookie defensive lineman coming in here is he was too active. He was trying to make too many plays. He would overrun his gap assignment. And finally they said, Vince, just settle down. Just take your gap. Relax. Let your teammates make plays around you. And you see that throughout this defense. One guy on one side, the other guy on the other side. Very patient tackling, very effective.
So Josh Brown will try to give the Seahawks their second field goal of the game. This will be from 40 yards out. And Josh Brown's kick is good, and the lead now is 20-6 in favor of New England with 34 seconds left in the half. Back here at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, the Patriots leading 20-6 as they've been a great success story, winning 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. And hats off to that man, Bob Kraft, and what he has done nurturing this franchise, getting this stadium built, one of the great franchises in the National Football League. And it's amazing, Red Sox talk about not winning a World Series since 1918. This guy seems to make it almost every other year.
Just a wonderful person, and what a job he did putting together this stadium and doing it all in private funding and keeping the Patriots here in town. And he's done a remarkable job as an owner for this franchise.
I remember when he let Bill Parcells go, and I basically kind of asked him, what are you doing? And he said, Chris, it's an organization that wins games. An organization, not one man. And he's proven that to be very true.
Bethel Johnson returning the kickoff from the 5-yard line. With time running out, 29 seconds remaining in this first half. And I would think that it'd be interesting to hear what Mike Holmgren has to say his team, but same old story. Don't drop the ball. No penalties. Let's get back in the game. How?
Well, the very thing that's gotten them in this deficit here in this first half is what killed them at the end of the game last week against the Rams, and they just haven't been able to recover from it. They're not executing. They're not catching balls, turnovers. It's a whole array of things that have caused this.
But they're only down 2 touchdowns, and you're playing pretty well offensively. They just have to find a way to eliminate the mistakes. Still plenty of time to get back in this thing.
But they're on the road, and I know they've won 2 games on the road, but they're playing a team that has won 19 straight games. Patriots know how to win, and they certainly knew how to take this lead. 20-6 as the final seconds tick off. And that is the end of the first half with the score. The Patriots leading the Seahawks 20-6. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime show. JB, Terry, Howie, Jimmy, and the guys just 300 yards from here in Foxborough after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. The New England Patriots have the 20-6 lead over the Seattle Seahawks, hopeful of coming back from last week's disaster, but still plagued by turnovers, various mistakes, drop passes, and so forth. Seattle off their game right now, and they're going to need to come back in hostile environment when we come back for the second half with the Patriots leading the Seahawks 20-6. We all, of course, remember the Minutemen, but the Patriots have been 30 Minutemen in opening up a 26 lead over the Seattle Seahawks as we get set for the start of the third quarter. Looking at the halftime statistics right now, and the turnovers and the points off the keys.
Yeah, and that's really the big key of this game right now. Everything else is pretty much even. It's the turnovers, it's the drops, and the penalties. So far, New England has not had any penalties in this game.
And our fantasy stats right now. And there you see the numbers. And for the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com.
You know, this New England defense just has a way of making offenses look bad. You think back to the Indianapolis Colts in the playoffs a season ago. They came off that great game against Kansas City. They never had to punt in the ball game at all. Then they come in and just look terrible against this defense. And the amount of pressure and the intelligence of the players on the defensive side, it just makes a difference, and offenses look bad.
Chris, I don't think the Seahawks have seen anything like what they're Patriots are showing so far on the defensive end. Bethel Johnson trying to turn the corners, got terrific speed, and Johnson going out of bounds as we check in with Pam Oliver.
All right, Dick, as the Seahawks try to make it a ball game in the second half after a mistake-filled first half, Mike Holmgren told me he thought his team came out jumpy, that perhaps the magnitude of the game sort of got to his team. He said, we have to come out, play smarter, relax, get good field position, get some stops to try to be in this ball game. Back to you.
Thank you, Pam, and pretty honest appraisal from Mike Holmgren.
And I would agree with him 100%. That's exactly what I saw as well.
I agree with him, but I don't think that that's something that should be happening to this football team. It's a playoff team from a year ago. They've played in some big games. They've got to learn how to handle those situations and come out ready to play.
Patriots from the 26-yard line, and there as Brady gets hit as he unleashes it. And coming on in was Brandon Mitchell. Pass incomplete.
And Chris, you touched on it a little bit earlier when you said that it's only a 2-possession game. They're only down 14 points. That very easily could have been called, or should have been called, hand to the helmet. I've seen a lot lighter than that go for a penalty, but you talked about it, and they are very much in this game still. They've got to play better than what they have. This becomes a very big defensive possession for the Seattle Seahawks.
2nd and 10, handoff to Corey Dillon, and Dillon picks up about 3 yards. 3-yard gain for Corey Dillon, who has picked up 54 yards, averaging nearly 5 a clip.
And what did Tom Brady say about Corey Dillon? I thought he summed it up great. He said, that's a big piece of flesh right there. And it is. He comes at you and he runs so hard and he gets down so low. Just a punishing runner, but has the nifty moves to break the big one as well.
Patriots making the most of their possessions, scoring on their first 4. 3rd down and 7. David Patton moving to the outside, and pressure again on Brady. And Brady lets go and has Dillon underneath, but well short of the first down. And Antonio Cochran putting the pressure on. So it looks like, at least early on, the Seahawks are getting a better pass rush.
Well, they were able to get a better pass rush, yes. And Tom Brady does a nice job of sliding up in the pocket, but really a big 3rd down stop right there. The Seattle Seahawks had not done a very good job in the first half. New England was converting 60% on 3rd down, but to come out here on the first possession and stop them and now put the ball back in your offense's hands, that's a good start for the Seahawk team.
Josh Miller 3rd in the AFC in total average, and Maurice Morris is back deep. Good kick. Morris stumbled and then gets hit at the 16. So not only a terrific punt, but great coverage, and Gerard Sherry makes sure Morris wouldn't go anywhere. 52-yard kick, but the Seahawks have an opportunity to start a comeback.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39.
New England Patriots in front 20-6. Patriots looking for their 20th straight win and looking to tie a record for most consecutive regular season victories at 17. Matt Hasselbeck, and the pass floating incomplete. Darrell Jackson trying to come back for it. And it's 2nd and 10.
And Matt Hasselbeck there was looking for Jeremy Stevens, but Teddy Bruschi is really the most complete linebacker on this defensive team. And as you see, he comes back and gets underneath the throw, forcing Matt Hasselbeck to get off of him and then go elsewhere with the football. And Matt Hasselbeck thought that he had an opportunity, but good coverage there by New England.
Sean Alexander with the carry. Alexander with 6 carries, 21 yards, only 3.5, and that was Richard Seymour bringing him down after a pickup of 2.
One of the remarkable things about Richard Seymour is here's a guy that's 6'6". We already saw him tip the screen pass earlier, but how low he plays. When you talk to some of the offensive linemen around the league, they just have never seen a guy that tall that is able to maintain that low leverage underneath their pads and make plays. Just a fantastic effort that time by Richard Seymour.
And the crowd urging on the Patriot defense with 3rd and 7 on the Seattle 20-yard line, and the pass is caught by Corin Robinson, who holds on this time and has a first down and gets a few extra yards before he's down up to the 44-yard line with Eugene Wilson, the free safety, on coverage.
Well, and that's the play that they needed Corin Robinson to make. You see Tyrone Poole really all over him, and Matt Hasselbeck makes another good throw, putting it down low where Tyrone Poole cannot make a play on it. Corin Robinson that time looks it in. You still see the bobble, but at least he looked that one all the way in and used his hands.
24 yards, out of trouble to the 44, and here's Alexander trying to juke his way, and finally gets into Patriot territory, and a good play, 7 yards on first down. Bruschi in the middle, bringing down Alexander. So far has not been a factor coming into the game. Tied with Randy Moss for the NFL touchdown lead with 7.
And Teddy Bruschi, really a pretty remarkable guy. He was a defensive end in college, and sometimes you see defensive ends that go to outside linebacker. Teddy Bruschi made the move to inside linebacker and is one of the best in the game right now.
2nd and 3. Caught by Robinson, and Corin Robinson fighting to the 31. I see some life in this team now.
Well, Matt Hasselbeck told us last night that the only thing he knows to do when the receivers are dropping the ball on him is to go back to him, and that's exactly what he's doing here in the second half. Again, they like this matchup right now with Corin Robinson against Tyrone Poole. You see him getting him running. He comes out of it and makes the catch. One thing we know is that these receivers are not going to be wide open. They're going to be challenged on receptions.
Alexander.
Ball's out.
And the Seahawks, who have already turned it over twice today and only losing 1 fumble all year, hold on to this one.
Boy, I tell you what, that was a major strike by Eugene Wilson. The safety's going to come up. Sean Alexander's never even going to know what hits him, and Eugene Wilson, who's not really known as the bigger hitting of the safeties out here. Rodney Harrison usually gets all the acclaim for that, but Wilson laid the lumber on that one.
Tyrone Poole's been bothered by a knee injury, out of there now at cornerback. Asante Samuel is in. This one caught by Bobby Ingram out of bounds after picking up the first down to the 16 of New England. 12-yard pickup, and all of a sudden the Seahawks showing life.
And that's really one of the benefits of rolling out to your right as a quarterback. They got Willie McGinnis coming off the edge. You're going to see him. He's got him right in his face, but because he's booting to his right, much easier to get the ball out into Bobby Ingram's hands. Had he have been going to his left, much harder then to get your shoulders turned and make the throw.
And it looks like Tyrone Poole, the cornerback, is out of the game. See if they go after his spot.
That's Asante Samuel, and the flip, and a very careless play right there. And the ball knocked around. Sean Alexander was the man that Matt Hasselbeck wanted to get it to. And it'll be a 2nd down and 10.
Well, I tell you, one thing we've seen from Matt Hasselbeck throughout the ball game is a lot of emotion. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Apparently, someone did not do what it is they were supposed to. He had running lane up inside. He had a chance to get the ball into the hands of Sean Alexander, but clearly upset about something that took place.
2nd and 10 from the New England 15, and here is Alexander diving inside the 10-yard line. Will be short by about 4 yards of the first down as Rodney Harrison and Eugene Wilson, the 2 Patriot safeties, clamp down, bringing up a 3rd down, and this will determine whether the Seahawks will have to settle for 3 or maybe get in a position for a touchdown.
Well, and this has really been a great drive for Seattle offensively. We talked about the defense coming out, stopping New England on their first possession. They punt, and they've done a good job of moving down the field. Now they've got to come up with touchdowns, and to do that, they've got to convert here.
And Maurice Morris goes in motion, pressure put on, and the pass to Corin Robinson, and it is incomplete. Robinson covered well by Asante Samuel, who had replaced Tyrone Poole. So it is 4th down, and once again the Seahawks will go for 3.
As we've seen over the years against this New England Patriots defense, it's one thing to move it between the 20s, and it's another one to stick it in the end zone. At time just a little bit cautious on the throw, and of course, you know, with these cornerbacks out here, they're going to break on the ball and make plays. I thought Matt had a chance to stick that one in there.
So here is Josh Brown looking for his 3rd field goal of the day, 28-yarder through the uprights, and the Patriots lead now cut to 20-9, but Seattle showing their best life on offense by far. Well, today's game is being seen around the world on Armed Forces Television, and we want to send our very best wishes to the men and women of the 415th Base Support Battalion in Kaiserslautern, Germany. Glad you're aboard, glad you're watching. As the Patriots lead has been cut to 11 in their 19-game winning streak. Most of their games have been close games. They've won by an average of a little more than 9 points, so they haven't been rolling over people at least. But they win, and that's the key. They get the W's. Bethel Johnson returning the Josh Brown kick for New England up to the 32-yard line. And with just under 9 minutes remaining in the third, Tom Brady comes back to work, and we will too in just a moment. Talk about beautiful states. There's one right there, the Green Mountain state of Vermont. I had him at that license plate made up before this game. How did he know, or how does he know? First down, Corey Dillon. Tripped up, picking up 1.5 yards on first down as we check in once again with Pam.
Hey, Dick, Tyrone Poole has been sitting on the bench. Hasn't been a whole lot of attention from the training staff. The medical staff did, however, put some ice on his right knee a moment ago. Poole missed action last week because of a knee injury. The Patriots say his return today is probable.
All right, Pam, and of course Patrick Pass, the fullback, injured on a kick return, has yet to come back from his first quarter injury. 2nd and 8, and again they go to Dillon, trying to go up the middle, breaking a couple of tackles. Corey Dillon, first down to the 45-yard line. Very strong there.
And you know, the one thing that we saw a lot of in Cincinnati with Corey Dillon is here's a guy that as the game goes along and the defenses start to get a little bit tired, he just mauls people. You can forget about sticking an arm out and getting Corey Dillon on the ground. I can remember the game he broke the record for most yards, something like 260-something yards. And every run, you could just see guys begin to back off of him. They just wanted no more part of him. A dangerous threat is in the second half.
67 yards on 13 carries and a chance for more. And Dillon, look at that sideways power as he edges his way into Seattle territory before Rashad Moore holds him.
Yeah, Dick, and he's, you know, you're seeing him move the pile. I mean, Chris certainly is right that, you know, this is a guy like most good backs that gets stronger as the game goes along, and you can tell that this guy's starting to get stronger and they're starting to feed him the ball. And anytime you see the pile going backwards, that's not a good thing for this defense.
Wearing him down here with nearly 7 to play in the third. 2nd down and 4, and they go this time to Kevin Falk. Falk tackled short of the first down by 1 yard, and that was Antonio Cochran, so it'll be 3rd and short.
I actually think the Patriots have a chance to be a better football team than what they were last year, because early in the season there's a lot of passing type teams that flash early and look pretty good, but we all know as the season goes along and the weather gets worse, you have to have somebody that can really pound the football, and I just think that Corey Dillon is such a better player than Antoine Smith. He's going to really make a major threat here.
And Dan Klecko checks into the game. A quarterback sneak successful for Tom Brady. And a first down. So right now the Patriots content and pounding it away at the Seattle defense.
Yeah, and we saw Kevin Falk come in a couple plays ago, and of course he missed the first 3 games of the season. He got a chance to come back, and even though he had 1 carry last week, but he's going to be a nice change up to what they already have with Corey Dillon, and you get those 2 guys going. And Falk in the game now, you get those 2 guys going. I mean, you've got a pretty good tandem of running backs in this running game.
1st and 10 on the 45, and they do a double reverse to Patton. David Patton. And he's tackled at the 39-yard line, so picking up 5 yards after all of that. Ken Lucas alertly makes the tackle, but anyway, it's been 6 running plays, no pass plays on this drive for the Patriots, Troy.
Well, and I like what Charlie Weiss is doing, the offensive coordinator, because he sees something now. He sees that they're having success running the football with Corey Dillon, with Kevin Falk, and then also they're on the little gadget play running the reverse. But while they're moving the ball down the field and picking up first downs, they're also taking valuable time off the clock.
And all of a sudden, what does he do? Go deep with one, take a shot? 2nd and 5. Everything has been run. Keep it on the ground to Corey Dillon. And Dillon is tackled about 2.5 yards short of the sticks. With 3rd down coming up. So again, a 3rd down play, and one of the Seahawks is shaken up. Anthony Simmons, who has been bothered and injured with a strained shoulder, and thought that maybe Tracy White would start if Simmons couldn't go, but he's hurt right now and will take a timeout.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Singular Wireless. By Campbell's Chunky Chili, mouth-watering chili that's worthy of any tailgate party. And by the personal financial advisors of American Express.
Dick Stockton along with Troy Aikman and Chris Collinsworth, and a big third down play at this juncture. If Seattle wants to have more comeback visions, 3rd down and 4, and on the hard count, no flag is down, and now they throw a flag, and the pass dumped off to Daniel Graham, and the tight end will have more than enough for the 1st down, pending the penalty call.
Tripping, offense, number 72, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And that's Matt Light, the left tackle. So that is the first penalty of the day called against the Patriots.
And it's really a big one right now. Seattle looking for anything to try and get themselves jump started here. And Matt Light, who was struggling with that same inside move last week against Jason Taylor, clearly just reaches out and trips him. But Tom Brady, I think, just looks so great in the pocket. I mean, he's a guy that's going to stand down there. He keeps his eyes down the field and has that little move within the pocket, a little like Dan Marino. He's not a fast guy, but able to find those throwing lanes.
6th round pick who made it big. 3rd down and 14, and thrown underneath to Robbie Abdullah, who is stopped at the 40-yard line. So Abdullah, who scored his first career touchdown last week, 7th year in the league, tackled by Kazavinsky, bringing up 4th down.
You know, Chris, and I think when you talk about Tom Brady and what they've done today, and even last week offensively being able to score some points, they've been doing it the last few weeks without their leading receiver Deion Branch from a year ago and their 3rd leading receiver Troy Brown. They've had a lot of different receivers coming in and out of the game, and yet they've done a good job of finding ways to move the ball.
Josh Miller. Bobby Ingram back. Fair catch. Right at the 10-yard line. Well, our boys in the stadium, they are in the house. Terry Bradshaw and Howie Long have come in the house to view things from the sideline. 20-9, favor of the Patriots. Hey, your old coach is on the sideline again.
Yeah, that's where he's most comfortable. He should still be on the sidelines with some teams.
Don't tell him that. He wants no part of it. I think that guy's as happy as he can be.
The Patriots have the Seahawks backed up to their worst starting field position, the 10-yard line. Leading by 11, 3:39 remaining, 3rd, and they want to go up top. Corin Robinson, and he makes the reception. Robinson with the catch. So all of a sudden, after dropping a couple, he has made some big catches, and a flag is down. That would be a 31-yard play.
And they're going to get Corin Robinson for taunting. So he makes a great play and then spikes the football, I guess, in the face, which is something that they've really been harping on this season.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, offense, number 81, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
And that really shows that you're not used to this theater and this arena in these kind of games if you do that.
Well, it just shows that you have no self-discipline, and for a guy who's been struggling throughout the 1st half, and then to come into the 2nd half and make the plays that he's been able to make. And
I just don't get that one, though, Troy. Do you think that's taunting when you take the ball and you spin it on the ground? He didn't do it in anybody's face.
Well, if he didn't do it in someone's face, they wouldn't have called it. I mean, obviously that's what they thought that he was doing, because that's
the rule.
You know, if you do it in the face of somebody or to try to show up an opponent.
Unless there's somebody lying on the ground right underneath there, and maybe there was, and we just can't see it from that shot. Just walking back to the huddle and spinning the ball shouldn't have been a foul.
Sean Alexander off left tackle. You be the judge.
I don't see it. I'm sorry. I do not think that's taunting.
It was Rodney Harrison that actually made the call to the official. He's the one who started complaining, saying, hey, official, isn't that taunting? And and he got the call.
Let him play. That's pathetic. I hate to see games that are decided by stupid calls. That's horrible.
And officials can't let players talk him into throwing the flag. 2nd and 6 on the 30. That hurt the Seahawks. And the pass tip trying to go to Jackson. Deflected. And it'll be 3rd down coming up for Matt Hasselbeck. 2:46 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Seahawks trying to make inroads. They've had nothing but field goals as the #1 pick Vince Wilfork, who is fitting more and more into the scheme of things, leaves the game.
Well, one thing that Seattle has done a very good job of today that they've not done all season is they've done a really good job converting on 3rd down.
They need 6. And Hasselbeck is tackled by Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel making the shoe top tackle from behind, a loss of 3, and the Seahawks have to punt.
Yeah, and Mike Vrabel just doing a great job of coming up and continuing on the play. And Hasselbeck, it appeared that he was going to be able to get outside, and if he couldn't find anybody because of the coverage, he would have been able to run for the 1st down, but Mike Vrabel's able to get him to the ground.
And the rookie Donnie Jones, 7th round pick from LSU, forced to kick with Tom Ruin out of action and picked up by Kevin Falk. And look at Kevin Falk get away from trouble and get 5 more yards than he should have gotten, and finally out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Patriots good field position. So Mike Vrabel, who can do it offensively as we saw in last year's Super Bowl, and defensively as we saw on the last play. Hasselbeck and Brady, both 6th round draft picks. This is what they've done.
Yeah, and actually I think Matt Hasselbeck has done a pretty good job throwing the football. I mean, he's put the ball in some good places. The 2 interceptions I don't think were his fault. Certainly not the tipped ball. And then the second one, I thought Darrell Jackson could have done a better job of coming back to it, at least breaking it up. But both of these quarterbacks have been very efficient.
And how many times have you watched Tom Brady and go, yeah, he's playing pretty well, then you look at the ratings, 117.
Corey Dillon cutting to the outside and picking up 6 yards. Ken Hamlin making the tackle on the play with 1:53 to go. So the Patriots, who did not punt in the 1st half in 5 possessions, have had to kick it away in both of theirs in the 2nd.
Well, anytime your safety Ken Hamlin is making the tackle 6 yards up the field, you've got some problems.
2nd and 4. And here's Dillon. 1st down. Corey Dillon diving close to midfield. Well, baseball very much in the picture in the month of October. Tonight, the Cardinals and the Astros. Remember, the Cardinals had the best record in baseball, and they will play the Astros tonight with a 2-1 lead in that series. And the Yankees, 3-0 lead over the Red Sox, and maybe the Red Sox need Teddy Ballgame in their lineup tonight.
You know what was interesting was hearing Al Leiter say that he thought Roger Clemens was the best pitcher of all time. I wanted to get your take on that.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, and I'm not sure Tim McCarver felt that way either. You always got to be nice to the guys you're working with in the booth. You don't want to turn them on them dramatically. I know, Troy, I don't want to do that with you, but
no, because I'm standing right next to you.
And he's big.
But you know, when you talk about all time, you know, Roger Clemens is you know, won a bunch of Cy Youngs, and if you say to me who is the greatest pitcher of all time, I will only say this: Roger's been a great one. I don't know if he comes to mind first. I will say that.
It's pretty good, though.
Oh no,
and it's been amazing, you know, how effective he has been through the years in the big clutch situations.
3 different teams too.
Well, everybody always wants to say who's the best at whatever, best quarterback, the best. You can't ever find out who the best is.
Let's just say that he's amongst the best, and he's in pretty high company. Kevin Falk is tackled, and that is the end of the 3rd quarter as time runs out, with the Patriots leading the Seahawks 20-9. And the NFL on Fox will continue after a word from your local Fox station.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
The only thing I'll say about that poster is we haven't seen Bill Belichick in the debates yet. Now, when we see him in the debates, then we can have a better judgment, right?
I think he would do just fine.
What about the other two? All right, we're not talking about that. 3rd down and 7 as we start the 4th quarter. Patriots on the 48 of the Seahawks. Plenty of time, and Brady doesn't see any receivers, but he'll run for the 1st down. And a fumble, and the Seahawks recover. So Tom Brady, who has been nursing stitches in his chin and get hit in the lip, deciding to run. It was a good idea until he fumbled the ball.
Yeah, and he had no choice there. He could not have slid on that play, or else he would have been short of the 1st down. He was right at the 1st down marker, decides to go head first, and boy, everything started flying. Balls and helmets and everything.
His helmet. So
what a break, though, for Seattle. This is a real opportunity right now.
First turnover committed by the Patriots, and the Seahawks, who have had to climb back, have a 1st down on their 42-yard line. Just the start of the 4th quarter. Sean Alexander. I'll tell you today, the Patriots have had an answer for Alexander, who gets 4 yards on 1st down.
Here's another look at Tom Brady, and he absolutely gets pounded. I mean, anytime the headgear comes flying off like that, when you get hit low, that'll give you some kind of idea as to how hard he's getting hit.
Michael Boulware.
And what a great hustle play by Chike O'Keefer, flying over the top, coming from a defensive end position to make that play. One thing this defense does, they will hustle.
2nd and 7. Hasselbeck drop. Darrell Jackson this time drops what would have been a 1st down. And right now, for a game break, let's go back out to L.A. and Jeannie Zelasco.
Hey, Red Sox fans, someone in New York is losing. But with 3 minutes to go in the 3rd, here come the 5-0 Jets. Lamont Jordan, 17 yards for the score, 14-9. Jets decide to go for 2. Guess what? Doesn't work. Still 14-9.
I'll tell you what, Mike Holmgren is he's got to be just going crazy on the sidelines with all these drops, keeping them in 3rd and long.
And here's Hasselbeck stepping up and firing it before he was tackled. You got the sense he knew he was going down. Roosevelt Colvin, who was injured last year, and a pretty good outside pass rusher from the linebacking spot.
Well, this just is not one of those defenses that you get a lot of opportunities to make plays. And so when you do get the chances, you've got to be able to capitalize on them. And 3rd down is not when you want to be trying to pick up 1st downs. And on the 2nd down play to Darrell Jackson, that would have converted for a 1st down if he makes that catch.
6th drop of the day. That is the reason this team is not in the game.
About that one for a long time. Kevin Falk running out of bounds. So the drops which affected the Seahawks last year, now they're a year older after getting to the playoffs, and the same malady affects them.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. By State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by Budweiser. Enjoy a cold, fresh Budweiser, because fresh beer tastes better.
Well, the Seahawks couldn't do anything with that opportunity, and now the Patriots, sharp contrast to the 1st half when they made it count. They're 0 for 3 in possessions in the 2nd half. Tom Brady from the 28 sets up the screen to Corey Dillon. And a good tackle made by the linebacker, Tracy White, who replaced Anthony Simmons, who came out of the game with bruised ribs.
You know, Troy, one of the great common denominators that all these tremendous teams we've been talking about today have is a defense that can bail an offense out when you make a mistake. That time they come up with a fumble, and New England's defense comes right in, 3 and out, no problem. You think back to the 85 Bears, 72 Dolphins, all those great dynasty teams, they all had it.
They got a little help, though.
Good point.
Darrell Jackson.
Good point.
Dillon is tackled back at the 30 by Isaiah Kazavensky. Well, will the Patriots join the NFL dynasties? Let's take a look at some of the great ones.
You know, I think they're already in that category. I really do. You win 2 world championships. You have a 19-game winning streak.
This team won 4, though, the Steelers. in the 49ers under Bill Walsh.
Yeah, I know that guy.
How about them Cowboys?
Jimmy was on the sidelines and enjoying himself, not as much as he did in that picture. 3rd down and 6. Plenty of time for Brady if he can just find someone. And it's intercepted. Pass is picked off at the 45-yard line. And the Seattle Seahawks get the ball back. The interception by Michael Boulware, 2nd-round draft pick from Florida State, who had made the play on Tom Brady moments ago.
Yeah, Michael Boulware, who was an outside linebacker in college at Florida State. And look at the time that Tom Brady had in the pocket. You see Antonio Cochran, they're all running around in circles trying to get to Tom Brady, but Boulware is the guy who lays out and makes a play. Chris, you were talking about good defenses stepping up and making plays. Seattle's done that now throughout the 2nd half.
3rd interception of the season for Boulware, and on the bootleg, pass caught by Corn Robinson. And the Seahawks inside the 25-yard line, coming back quickly with a 23-yard pickup.
And let's give Corn Robinson a little credit here in the 2nd half. After a horrendous 1st half, this was the ball that he dropped a week ago that could have locked up the game against the Rams. Comes right back on the bootleg. He's the shallow cross guy, makes a huge play.
And right now the Seahawks are playing a lot faster on offense. 1st down on the 22-yard line, and the handoff to Sean Alexander, turning the corner out of bounds after picking up another Seahawk 1st down. A gain of 12.
You know, you talk about Corn Robinson and giving him a little credit. How about a little credit here on the blocking that he gives down the field? Watch him out here at wide receiver. He's going to come down the field. Sean Alexander's going to be working off of his block. He's blocking Samuel and does a pretty good job.
That lead draw is something that's so effective. Once you complete a pass on 1st down, and come right back to the lead draw.
1st and goal on the Patriot 9. And Hasselbeck goes down, might have picked up 1 yard. Jarvis Green making the tackle, and it'll be 2nd down and goal. Willie McGinnis, who has an interception early in the game, putting the pressure on Hasselbeck.
And Hasselbeck can no more get his back foot planted, and he's having to step up so quickly. I mean, it is amazing how quickly the Patriots are getting there around the corner. It just shouldn't be happening that fast.
Boy, he has felt the pressure today, the hurries especially. 2nd down and goal from the 9. And the handoff, Alexander will go in for the touchdown. So the Seahawks, who trailed at one point 20-3, have cut the margin to 5 and maybe 4 as Wilson missed the initial attempt.
And they're going to go for 2 here, and what a great call by Mike Holmgren. He senses blitz, they get the blitz, and then they get Sean Alexander running right underneath it. Rodney Harrison over pursued, thinking pass. Sean Alexander comes underneath that, and then he breaks the tackle to get into the end zone. A good sequence of play calls right there.
And they're going for the 2 right here to cut it to a field goal difference. Hasselbeck's pass caught for the 2-point conversion to Jeremy Stevens. So it is now 20-17. And let's see if there's a flag down, and there is back at the 10-yard line.
The point is good. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 37, shot below the knees. 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Timeout.
Matt Hasselbeck said Rodney Harrison is the dirtiest player in the league, and he gets called for the personal foul, the 2-point conversion. It's a 3-point game, and the Seahawks very much back in this game. Well, on the line right now is the Patriots' 30-game winning streak when they're leading after 3, but bigger than that, the longest current streak in the NFL. They've won 19 straight games, and no one has right now has a 30-game win streak for those that have led going into the final 15 minutes. 20-17, 14 unanswered points by the Seahawks, and when you kick off so close to midfield, it's easy to kick it to the back of the end zone.
Rodney Harrison coming around the corner is going to get the foul. He's just going to turn back to look where the pass was and never really realize he runs into Matt Hasselbeck. But the Seahawks do nothing to take advantage of it. They just kick it out of the end zone.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Saturn. People first.
And back here at Gillette Stadium, and this is a matter of turnovers because 2 Seahawk turnovers in the first half, giving the Patriots the big lead. 2 Patriot turnovers in the second half. One really hurt, this last one. And the pass crossing pattern to the tight end, Daniel Graham, getting 11 in the first down as we check in again with Pam Oliver.
Hey, Dick, offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss gathered up the Patriots offense, the entire offense, before they took the field, and he gave them a pretty good chewing out. He wants to see a better effort from that group, and he also wants to see the Patriots play smarter than they have in this second half. Some concern starting to grow now on the faces of the Patriots, Dick.
And well, you know, obviously that's a good reason because the Seahawks have narrowed the gap to 3. We're down 20-3 at one time. And Tom Brady's pass off the hands of David Patton. So all of a sudden the Patriots are a little skittery out there, Chris.
And the one thing now that Seattle cannot get in the mode of is what they did, I thought, in the final 8 minutes last week. They start getting into this 4-man pass rush. They're just not that effective in the 4-man pass rush. And when they play the zone behind it, if you have a lot of time to throw, that zone gets stretched vertically, and there's a lot of room in between for those crossing routes. Wouldn't be surprised to see Brady come right back to it.
2nd and 10. Plenty of time remaining. Brady to Kevin Falk out of the backfield, first down. Kevin Falk, very valuable performer today, and teaming up well with Corey Dillon, picking up 14.
You know, and Matt Light, 72, has done a good job on Grant Wistrom on the outside. We haven't talked much about Grant Wistrom, and that's why. And Tom Brady doing a great job. This is really one of the things that he does well. We talked about it a little bit earlier, the patience that he has, but when you get a back coming out of the backfield, when the defenders are focused so much on the routes down the field, you can pick up some big gains getting the ball into his hands.
From the 45-yard line. And going down was Brady, and he throws it away. And it was Rashad Moore who makes the play, but Brady finally gets it away for an incomplete pass, bringing up 3rd down.
Well, in that time, Grant Wistrom, he read it out. They were trying to run a screen coming back the other way to Kevin Falk. You take a watch on him. He's going to come out like he's Brock and Wistrom. And then Brady's going to come back trying to get the ball into his hands. You see the lineman coming out. But because Wistrom sensed it, he stayed with Falk, and they were unable to get the ball to him.
It was a good job by Brady to look back before he threw it. A lot of quarterbacks will just turn and make that throw, and it would have been intercepted.
Joe Theismann.
No names, please. And the incompleted pass, Patton, was defended by Ken Lucas. Crowd was looking for a pass interference call, but it looked like Lucas had all ball.
Yeah, and we've seen now these cornerbacks for the Seattle Seahawks really grow up over the past 2 years. That's just great defense, not a foul at all. Marcus Trufant, Ken Lucas are guys that I think are now starting to move up in tandem as one of the better cornerback pairs in the league.
I don't think we can say enough about what the job that this defense has done here in the second half of getting this team back into this ballgame.
Remember, they had to play on half the field because of the turnovers and mistakes in the first half. And here's Brady on 3rd down and 10, and the catch is made. Daniel Graham with a clutch play. Difficult catch, 24 yards, first down to the Seahawk 31.
And Daniel Graham is just becoming the go-to guy in clutch situations for Tom Brady. The Seahawks back off. I thought they might blitz here. Maybe they're still a little gun shy after their blitz that beat them last week against the Rams. It was 3rd and 10, and they just fell back into the zone, and Tom Brady just made a great, great throw.
Sure has, Chris, and Graham on a string of touchdown receptions. 5 straight games. Keep it on the ground to Kevin Falk. And right now, the Patriots, who have the 3-point lead, chewing up a lot of clock in the process, and we have under 9 minutes remaining in the 4th.
Well, right now, if you're Seattle, the one thing you're focused on is just trying to keep them from scoring a touchdown. Right now, because of Adam Vinatieri being your field goal kicker, they are well within his range to come away with 3 points. But then that would only make it a 6-point game. So very critical here for Seattle to hold them to only a field goal and not give up a touchdown.
They are on the 26, second down, 5. Brady's pass complete to Patton inside the 15. David Patton has made some big catches today, including the only touchdown the Patriots have scored. That good for 12, and they move the sticks.
Well, Patton does such a great job of getting in and out of breaks. He's got tremendous speed, and you'll watch him as he pushes the defender at the top, and Ken Lucas just does not challenge the route.
I think that right now the Seahawks have to change it up a little bit on first and second down. It's just too easy, the play calling for the Patriots, when they know it's going to be a zone every time on first and second down.
Hand off to Corey Dillon, and not much there as he runs right into Rashad Moore, picking up 2 yards. Under 7.5 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Well, we heard Pam Oliver talk about the talk that Charlie Weiss had with his team on the sideline, and it certainly seems to be paying off for him. I mean, this has been the best drive that they put together here in the second half, and they're mixing it up well with the run and the pass, and have converted some big third downs.
Well, you're right, Troy, because the Patriots are getting a big challenge in this big game of the season. New England led 20-3 at one point. Seattle has come back in the second half. Patriots with 19 straight victories. Play action for Brady on second down, and he flutters this one out of bounds, but gets a good pass rush, this time from Cedric Woodard.
And I'm just not sure what Tom Brady saw there that didn't make him make that throw. David Givens coming in short motion and going right back out in the flat on the bootleg look, and it looked like he had him for a pretty sizable gain, and he just pulled it down and decided to throw it away.
Now you take a watch at Cedric Woodard. He grabs Tom Brady and really slams him right there. I mean, the referee's watching it the entire way, but that could have been called. I think he's very fortunate that they didn't throw the flag. Yeah, you got to keep these quarterbacks in their dresses now.
11th play of the drive. They're tight dresses at that. Slant, incomplete, and gambling for the interception was Orlando Huff, who was slow getting up.
Tremendous play by Orlando Huff. Orlando Huff, if he doesn't get out there and dive in front of this ball, there's no question that David Patton's going to make the catch, and Patton getting up slowly. Watch Orlando Huff come from his middle linebacker position and just lay out and distract Patton just to make him miss that ball.
And a great job again by the Seattle defense. Yeah, the Patriots moved the ball, but they were able to hold him up and not allow him to get into the end zone.
So Adam Vinatieri will attempt a 30-yard field goal. And Vinatieri's kick is good, but as Troy mentioned, the lead is 6. And it's still a one-score game. Close in the fourth quarter. Patriots leading the Seahawks 23-17. Guys, you have to give the Seahawks a lot of credit for coming back with that big deficit in the first half in a tough road game against this team.
And you know, this is exactly what I want to see out of the Seattle Seahawks. Can they now, with 6+ minutes to go, come back and beat the world champions with a touchdown? This may just be their moment, finally.
Maurice Mars will run it out from 2 yards in the end zone. Still on his feet and bucks forward to the 26. 28-yard return by Morris in a 6-point duel. A lot closer than it looked in the first half by far. Comeback for Seattle, and some of the big plays and how they came back. Tom Brady trying to run it on third down, hit hard by Michael Boulware, fumbled the ball, and then later Boulware making an interception, his 3rd of the year, and then the touchdown by Sean Alexander, a 9-yard run, the 2-point conversion looming large, and congrats from Trent Dilfer, who has won a Super Bowl with Baltimore. For Matt Hasselbeck, Tom Brady watching as the Seahawks start from the 26. Patriots by 6. Hasselbeck avoids a linebacker and completes to Corin Robinson, and his forward progress appears to be enough for a first down.
And really really a great job by Matt Hasselbeck. He gets outside. He's got Darrell Jackson, who they were trying to get the ball to up the sideline, but because of pressure, he had to come back inside. And he just the thing where I think Matt Hasselbeck has improved the most is his understanding of this offense and where his second and third receivers are. Great example of it right there.
Roosevelt Colvin left in his tracks by Hasselbeck. Corin Robinson with his 7th 100-yard game of his career. From the 36, pressure on Hasselbeck, firing downfield, and not even seeing it was Darrell Jackson who didn't turn around. Right now, time for a game break. Jeannie Zelasco, take it away.
Well, one baseball team wearing red is finding success this postseason. I'm talking about the Cardinals and Albert Pujols geared up for Game 4 of the NLCS with the Astros. Then, of course, it is the Yankees and the Red Sox. It's all coming up at LCS doubleheader next on Fox.
Second down.
All right, Jeannie, and a penalty, illegal formation called against the Seahawks declined by the Patriots, bringing up 2nd and 10.
And I can't tell you how important I think this moment is, not just for Matt Hasselbeck, for the Seattle Seahawks. They have been waiting for something to move them to the next echelon of teams. This is their opportunity.
2nd and 10, handoff, Sean Alexander, 2 yards. Richard Seymour, tough man to run up against, and might have gotten 3 yards on the play as we wind down to 5.5 minutes in the 4th.
They're going to be faced again with a 3rd and long situation. The good news for Seattle is if they fail to convert here, they still have all 3 timeouts, so they don't have to panic. They can punt and rely once again on their defense and still have time to get in for the go-ahead touchdown.
And how good has their defense been in the second half? Pretty good. 3rd down and 6. Hasselbeck, and the pass to Maurice Morris, good. And he makes the grab, and it is a 1st down for the Seahawks. Morris with a clutch grab on the low throw, and the Seahawks move the sticks.
And the Patriots that time defensively were completely unsettled. Watch them running around in the backfield, and they just never got set. And it's going to cost them a 1st down here. If they had been settled, I think they would have had that one covered.
Great catch by Maurice Morris. Clutch catch on his part.
Handoff, Sean Alexander dives into New England territory. Picking up 4 yards on 1st down with Teddy Bruschi. New England Patriots looking for their 20th straight victory. But as far as the NFL's all-time regular season mark, a victory for the Patriots will make it 17 in a row, tying them with the 1933-34 Chicago Bears. And that would be the regular season winning streak. Play action. Hasselbeck swings it out to Sean Alexander down the sideline, and Alexander picks up about 20 yards after the catch before Rodney Harrison knocks him out of bounds. 25-yard pickup.
And let me tell you, Chris Terry on the outside, number 72, does a great job on Mike Vrabel, which allows Hasselbeck the time to get it to the outside. They got Roman Pfeiffer locked up in coverage on Sean Alexander. Nice job of finding him by Matt Hasselbeck. Big game.
And one of the things that the Patriots do is they try and read on the fly. That time Roman Pfeiffer got caught inside and gave up a big play.
And the Patriots are indicating movement as Roosevelt Colvin just knocking down the left tackle for the Seahawks.
And I think Colvin was right. I think there was some movement there on that left side of the offensive line.
There are 2 fouls on the play. False start, offense, number 86. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 59. By rule, false start is ignored. Be half the distance to the goal on the defense. 1st down.
And Chris, I got to tell you, I kind of like that call. I mean, there was movement, but Colvin clearly takes a shot. I mean, he comes through. He doesn't have to come in and do that. I think that's a good call by the official.
You know, I agree with you, Troy, but I'll also say this. It's one that's not often made.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Rarely do they call it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't think I have ever seen that call made. But you're absolutely right. He came in and he took a big shot. I think it's something that should be called in this league, but that's the first time I've seen it.
Jeremy Stevens was the tight end who actually had moved.
Yeah, and because it was a personal foul on New England, Seattle actually gains the yardage, so it was a benefit to them.
Right, it's the 5:15 rule.
Exactly.
When you have that 5-yard penalty, it's ignored. You take the 15 yards, half the distance to the goal, and that offsets a little bit the rough call the Seahawks got earlier in the game.
So now Seattle on the New England 13. Hasselbeck going underneath. Another flag. 2 flags are down as Samuel comes in to stop Max Strong. A loss of 1, but 2 yellow flags come flying. Tell you, this game has picked up intensity, and both calls will go against the Seahawks.
Pretty tough decision right here. You lose a couple of yards on the play. Do you want the down or do you want the yardage? And I think Bill Belichick says we'll take our chances. But it probably at this point now is 4-down territory.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal shift, offense. That penalty's declined. Ineligible receiver downfield, offense. Number 61. That penalty's also declined. 2nd down.
I'll tell you what, Chris, if Seattle does not go on to win this game, can you imagine the ride back to Seattle with all the opportunities that they've had to win this game and put more points on the board? And even having said all of that, all of the things that have happened, they're knocking on the door with a chance to win.
Could this be the moment that Matt Hasselbeck and the Seattle Seahawks go over the top?
Could be a turning point game. We'll know in 3:51. 2nd down and 12. And here's Hasselbeck with time.
It's intentional grounding. That has to be intentional grounding.
And the flag has not been thrown. And Rodney Harrison.
There it is.
There you go.
What took them so long?
Well, they wanted to get together and make sure there wasn't a receiver in the area.
Offense, number 8. 10-yard penalty. Loss of down. 3rd down.
The key part of that, of course, the loss of down, and Matt Hasselbeck started to scramble, and he's going to see somebody right in his face, and he's just going to flick it, but there's not a receiver anywhere in sight. Good call by the officials.
Now, the only thing that Matt Hasselbeck could have done to avoid that is if he throws it out of the end zone in the vicinity of a receiver, then he's okay. You can throw it out of the end zone from within the pocket, but throwing it away from inside the pocket when there's no receiver there to avoid the sack, definitely intentional grounding. Good call.
And you're right, Troy. I don't think he had enough time to go into the end zone to throw it away. 3rd down and 21. Seahawks have to get inside the 10. Pressure from behind. Down he goes. And Mike Vrabel with the sack.
But it's going to be offsides against the Patriots. Going to get another shot at that one.
And Matt Hasselbeck knew that he had the offsides on the defense. He was hoping to have enough time to get a shot down the field. He had a free play, but Vrabel comes off the edge.
Defense.
Doesn't have a chance.
Number 50, 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And that's why Vrabel was able to get to Matt Hasselbeck so easily. So that will bring up 3rd down and now 16.
And I'll tell you what, Dick, right now Walter Jones, the left tackle, and Chris Terry, the right tackle, they have their work cut out for them because these guys off the edge, Vrabel, Colvin, these guys are smoking off the corner.
Don't forget, you do have all 3 timeouts for the Seattle Seahawks. You could kick a field goal here. Try and hold them, use your timeouts, and get the ball back.
3rd down and 16. Ball is on the 19. And the pass is caught by Jeremy Stevens. And will be about 9 yards shy of the 1st down. And it'll be 4th down coming up. Eugene Wilson makes the decisive tackle.
Well, you either got to hurry up and go for it right now, or you got to get your field goal team out as soon as possible. There's time coming off the clock, and by them being indecisive as to what they were going to do, the valuable time is coming off this clock right now.
And I think Matt Hasselbeck got rushed on that last one because he'd been under so much pressure. You just don't expect your quarterback in that situation to not take a shot in the end zone to try and win the game. They basically gave up on the play.
I'm a little surprised they didn't burn a timeout. They lost about 40 seconds.
Josh Brown right down the middle, and the kick is good. So that is Josh Brown's 4th field goal of the game. And the Seahawks now trail by 3. Even though they didn't get the touchdown, guys, I don't think that's a bad move the way their defense is playing, and with the timeouts remaining. 3:01 is a lot of time.
No, I think the right decision was made in terms of kicking the field goal, but right now they've got to rely on the defense. But the one thing that New England has done over and over whenever they've had to run the time off the clock to preserve a win, they've been able to do that, and that's what they're going to have to try to do again here today.
Yeah, but for me, the real story of this game has been the play of the Patriots defense in the red zone. Every time that they get down in the red zone, they've been able to hold them to a field goal. Seahawks have been going up and down the field pretty effectively all day, but in money time, it's been the New England defense that's made the plays.
As you know, the way this game started, whoever thought we would come to 3 minutes to go in this game being on the line.
Well, let's not forget, I mean, coming into this game, Seattle had never trailed in a ball game, and so for them to show some resiliency and show some character and coming back against a good football team on the road, this thing's a long way from being over, but they've showed me something here in the second half.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think the Seahawks showing how they responded to adversity on the road against a team that has won 19 straight games.
And this Seahawks defense, Grant Wistrom was telling us yesterday, he said, we've gotten to the point where we want to be the ones on the field to decide the game. Well, here you go, guys.
You got it, big boy.
Right there it is.
Josh Brown kicking off. And back deep is Bethel Johnson. Good return by Johnson, and right now for a game break, let's go out to Jeannie Zelasco.
At the Meadowlands, 5-0 Jets. Do I hear 6-0? Here they come. Curtis Martin, 1 yard in for the touchdown. Guys, the Jets go for 2 again. Same result, nothing. Pass incomplete, but they do lead.
And Jeannie, right here at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, the Patriots want to remain undefeated and go 5-0 and make it 20 straight games. Under 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, 23-20. Each team has all 3 timeouts remaining. Dick Stockton, Troy Aikman, Chris Collinsworth set for the big finish here in Foxborough. First down from the 37. Tom Brady with plenty of time and bounces his one incomplete, bringing up second down.
Well, that really surprises me a little bit. New England gets a great kickoff return to get the ball to the 37-yard line. If they don't even get a first down, they're going to be pinning the ball back for Seattle to try to then go on and get a field goal or a touchdown. But to come out on first down and throw the ball the way that they've been able to run it with Corey Dillon, that's surprising to me.
Almost looked like Tom Brady was a little gun shy on that one, too. Pulled the string just a little bit on that one. A pretty cautious throw.
It wasn't getting a lot of pressure, Chris. Second down and 10. Corey Dillon. And the Seahawks snuff him out after a gain of about 2. Rocky Bernard making the tackle. And the clock continues to run. It'll be 3rd and long.
Well, they'll call timeout. Seattle calls timeout, but that's what's perplexing to me about the first down pass was that because it was incomplete, Seattle didn't have to burn a timeout there. So now if they hold them on 3rd down, they'll use a timeout, provided that New England runs the ball, and they'll still have 1 timeout left and plenty of time to try to go down and get the tying field goal.
And you know what's been so strange for me watching the Seattle team? For the first 3 games and 3 quarters, this defense was just unbelievable. The #1 ranked defense in football and looked fantastic. Fourth quarter, they fell apart, and then in the overtime, and they started this game so sluggishly. But now in the second half, we've seen the defense that we saw for the first 3 games and 3 quarters, and they're 1 play away from giving this offense a chance to win the game.
But you're right, Chris. But the defense didn't play all that badly in the first half. The offense put the defense in a bad spot.
That's a good point.
3rd down and 8 from the 39. Out of the shotgun is Tom Brady. Design rolling out to his right, being chased, going to Bethel Johnson, and Bethel Johnson makes the grab. Inactive a week ago for reasons that Bill Belichick would not explain. Johnson with a 49-yard grab using his speed.
And how many times have we seen Tom Brady do this? But for Bethel Johnson, a guy that was inactive a week ago because they didn't like the way he practiced, they didn't like his attitude, they didn't like anything Bethel Johnson was doing. He comes out and completely lays out and makes the catch of the year so far.
And
what
a challenge is coming up right on this one. On possession,
Well, it's the only thing that Mike Holmgren can do is challenge the play, but clearly this was a reception. He makes the catch, he goes to the ground, the ball never comes out.
Seattle has challenged the ruling on the field. The pass was complete.
First challenge of the day.
It really is pretty remarkable, Chris, when you talk about, yeah, no question. I mean, the ball, his arm's underneath the ball when it goes to the ground, and just makes a great athletic move to lay out and make the catch, and then with one arm to still maintain possession. But like you said, Dick, I mean, for a guy who was inactivated last week, basically for disciplinary reasons, didn't feel that he was the professional or working the way that he should in practice, for him to be the guy that steps up at the end of the game and makes the play is what a great play on his part.
You know, Chris, I got to tell you that after that game, Bill Belichick was peppered by the media here. Why did you inactivate Bethel Johnson when you had Troy Brown out, Deion Branch out? Why would you do that? He said, look, you know, I have to decide each week who suits up. They asked him again. They said the same thing again. Bill Belichick is not going to give a reason if he doesn't have to when he didn't there.
You know, it's an interesting decision here by Mike Holmgren, and they're reviewing this one closely, but by taking the challenge here, Troy, you're costing yourself a timeout if it doesn't work out.
You know what?
You'll still have the 2-minute warning, but you're going to have very little time here at the end.
You know what? Take a look at that last angle.
I don't think even on that angle, I don't think there's anything that's irrefutable that would suggest that the ball came out or was loose when he goes to the ground. I mean, there's nothing definitive that you would...
After review, the receiver controlled the ball in the air, and while the ball hit the ground, it never moved. The ruling on the field stands. Completed catch. Seattle is charged with their first team.
See, if you don't see the ball spin at all, then the officials will give him it. If the ball starts to move and spin, they might take it away. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line for the Patriots, and Dan Klecko comes back in.
Saber.
And welcome back. And another challenge, and Bill Belichick has just thrown the red flag. It's been wild here as the Patriots trying to hold on to a 23-20 lead, which at one point was 20-3. Dick Stockton along with Troy Aikman and Chris Collinsworth, and a big play to Bethel Johnson, 49 yards, setting up the Patriots. A challenge by Mike Holmgren was denied, and here is the big play which may keep Seattle out of the win column.
Well, they just rolled Tom Brady out left, threw the deep post pattern to Bethel Johnson, and the question was, did he come down with the ball? And clearly he did. He laid out, and just a tremendous catch by that man right there, Bethel Johnson.
48-yard play. And Bill Belichick is claiming that the clock should go to 2 minutes. And the 2-minute warning should be in progress. At one time, the Patriots led 20-3. They led 20-6 at the end of the half, and then the Seahawks staging a terrific comeback in the second half, coming to within 3 before that long pass play.
Well, if they run this thing down to 2 minutes, the game's over with one timeout. But when you challenge a call, you have a timeout, and you have to then use the timeout, and that's why they're not going to start the clock.
And this is old news for the Patriots in this 19-game winning streak. They have won the close ones. Corey Dillon diving inside the 10-yard line, and we will have our 2-minute warning here in Foxborough as the New England Patriots 2 minutes away from their 20th consecutive victory and to tie the record for all-time regular season victories in a row. This is bad luck for the Seahawks as Grant Wistrom helped off the field after suffering an injury here.
Well, he's engaged with Christian Fourier, and you see the left leg. He comes out really trying to trip the ball carrier, and that's how he hurt his knee.
2nd down and 7. And here's Corey Dillon racing for the end zone. Touchdown. Corey Dillon going over the 100 mark. And the Patriots seal the victory here with 1:55 to go in the 4th quarter.
You know, Troy, you hate to say it, but there's just the difference between world champions and wannabes. When you get right down to it, the world champion New England Patriots make the plays, close out the games, finish it off. An unbelievable catch by Bethel Johnson. The Seattle Seahawks had their chance and couldn't get it in.
Well, we're just seeing another reason as to why they're going on to win their 20th in a row.
Adam Vinatieri with the extra point, and that makes it 30-20. But I'll tell you what, the wannabes did not come out with a W for wannabes, but they staged a pretty good rally in the 2nd half.
There's no question about it, and you have to give them a lot of credit. They fought hard. They came out. But the world champions are the world champions, and this is how you win 20 straight games with everything on the line. 3rd down and 8, you hit the bomb, you make the catch, you come down, and instead of having to settle for a field goal here at the end, you stick it in the end zone with a big, powerful new back and a new weapon in Corey Dillon. Guys look pretty tough.
Yeah, they really do. And every game comes down to about 6 or 7 plays. At the end of each ball game, you go back, and 6 or 7 plays will define whether or not a team won the game or a team lost the game. And New England was able to make those 6 or 7 plays, and Seattle, when they had the opportunities to get things going in their favor, they failed to make them.
Let's go back to the Bethel Johnson catch and watch Daniel Graham, number 82, right here. He's not going to have his 6th straight game with a touchdown catch, but for about the 4th time today, he makes a key block, 2 key blocks actually on that play, that is going to allow Bethel Johnson to make one of the more incredible catches you will ever see. The catch was good enough, but it is absolutely amazing that he did not bobble that football going to the ground. In this day and age of slow motion catches, just phenomenal.
And the only catch of the day for Bethel Johnson. And the kickoff by Vinatieri. Maurice Morris on the return, and Morris is down at the 34-yard line. It has been a terrific day for Corey Dillon, who is
You know, I think Corey Dillon's found himself a home.
I think you're exactly right.
105 yards today.
He gives this offense the physical presence that the defense has always had.
Here's Matt Hasselbeck getting pressure. Gets away from trouble, and Maurice Morris unable to hold on to it. I'll tell you one thing for the Patriots, the schedule started to get tougher today. They have the Seahawks, then they have the big collision with the New York Jets coming up next week, and road games at Pittsburgh at St. Louis. So the schedule definitely toughens for the Patriots.
It's really amen corner for the Patriots here, and if they could somehow survive this stretch of the next 4 or 5 games, I just don't know how good this team really is.
Meanwhile, Seattle and Arizona next week. Blitz on Hasselbeck. Pass caught short of the 1st down by Alex Bannister as we get close to 1.5 minutes remaining. Seahawks still have 1 timeout left.
I think in some regards, Chris, the jury's still out on what kind of team Seattle is. I mean, even their 3 wins were not against real powerhouse teams.
You know, but it's funny when you talk about the Patriots. I mean, they've sort of now gone beyond one of those really good teams and maybe even included in that list of dynasties. And they're getting to the point they're almost historic now with this win streak, and what they're doing. It's just amazing to see them week after week come up with these types of performances.
And this pass is complete, and the streaks go on for New England as the clock stops at 1:03. This will be their 14th straight win here in Foxborough, and as we mentioned, the big showdown with the New York Jets in the AFC East next week.
You know, and I think Tom Brady really said it best, Chris, when we were talking with him. He said, you know, with our coaching staff, with Bill Belichick and Romeo Crennel, and Charlie Weiss, and he said, we just feel like we have an advantage before the game ever starts because we're so well prepared going into each and every ball game. And watching this, you'd have to agree with him.
First down, and there's Alex Bannister, and he's dropped. Well, I don't know if anything can really ease the pain of what the Yankees are doing to the Boston Red Sox in the American League Championship Series, which you'll see tonight on Fox Game 4. But I'll tell you, there are a lot of smiling faces here still at Gillette Stadium, not moving out, enjoying this Patriot win, their 20th in a row. Hasselbeck completes the pass to Atula Mealy.
That's because these are the same fans that were at the Red Sox game last night, Dick. I mean, they want to have something to celebrate this weekend.
You know, this game really is not over at this point. If you can fire something in the end zone, onside kick, really anything can still happen. We've seen so many strange things in the NFL over the past couple of years.
Question is, would this happen against New England?
That's a good point. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it will, but I didn't think the Rams were going to come back from 17 points down last week either. So,
no, you're right.
Number 2-0 there.
Seahawks have used their last timeout. Bob Kraft, he's looking pretty confident with 29 seconds remaining. First down on the 18-yard line of New England. So
he's looking pretty confident too. How could you not with a silver head?
What time do you think he had to get up this morning to start that project? 4.
I just don't want to think about who may have been next to him when he woke up.
I'm not sure he finished the job yet, though, Dick.
First down from the 18. Hasselbeck's pass knocked away. Great play made that time by Dexter Reed, the rookie from North Carolina, breaking up that attempt to Atula Mealy.
Yeah, I can remember when Bob Kraft came back and decided to give up draft choices for Bill Belichick, a guy that really didn't have much of a proven track record as a head coach, but a great assistant, and boy, did that ever pay off here.
And welcome to Foxborough. 25 seconds to go. The Patriots trying to cling to a victory, leading 30-20. Seahawks out of timeouts. Jeremy Stevens with a first down to the 5-yard line. And it's a matter of getting a touchdown and an onside kick. A lot has to be done, and the penalty flag is down with 12 seconds remaining in regulation. A game in which the Patriots led at one point 20-3, and the Seahawks came back to cut it to 3 before Bill Belichick's club, looking for their 20th straight,
offside,
moved out.
Defense. The player never got back prior to the snap. There is no play. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Here's our game summary as you look at the numbers today, and plenty of them. Seattle outgaining New England, but on the scoreboard 30-20 at this point. Turnovers figuring for both teams as the Seahawks turned it over twice in the first half, and then Mike Holmgren's team able to take advantage of second half New England turnovers. And now the Patriots will call a timeout, and they have 2 remaining.
Well, I just don't think you can overstate it enough, Dick, with what Seattle was able to do. I mean, we saw the statistics there and what took place, and you know, this is a good offensive football team, and I think it's a good defensive football team as well. But offensively, as you said, Chris, they were able to move the ball up and down the field between the 20s, but they just weren't able to punch it in when they got into the red zone for touchdowns, and that combined with the penalties and the turnovers was their downfall. And if they are going to be able to get to the next level, they certainly have the ability, and now it's just a matter of going out and playing at the level that they're capable of playing against when they're playing good football teams. That's something they didn't do last week, and it's something they failed again to do this week.
You're right, Troy, and of course they still had the problem with the drop passes, which really affected them in the first half, and a lot of mistakes. Otherwise, this game may not even be that close. It may be in Seattle's column.
No question, and so much of what they do is revolved around throwing the football that if they don't get that part of it straightened out, then they're going to be losing a lot of games.
Patriots trying to go 5-0 for only the second time in franchise history. Hasselbeck's pass broken up, knocked down by Mike Vrabel with 9 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. And by the way, that 1974 team 30 years ago that started out 5-0 ended up 7-7 on the year when they played only 14.
You know, for Seattle to have any chance at all, they almost have to score here because you still have to do the onside kick, recover the ball, and have enough time for a Hail Mary pass. So if this pass is incomplete, I don't think you have time for an onside kick in another play.
And now New England will
Second charge timeout.
call a timeout.
New England. Correction, New England.
They have 1 left. It's been a wild game today. First the turnover, interception by Willie McGinnis. The drop passes.
Yeah, I really felt that first turnover there by Richard Seymour when he popped it up in the air and Willie McGinnis intercepted it. The Seattle did come out at the beginning of this game and they were moving the ball very well, but you know that illustrates it all right there.
But when you win 20 games in a row, week after week, different guys step up. But I think if you would have given me the roster today for the Patriots and asked me to list who was going to be the guy, I'm not sure Bethel Johnson would have been anywhere close to the top.
We didn't know he'd be active in this game. Second and goal at the 2. Seahawks keep charging, and Sean Alexander unable to hold on to it with 4 seconds remaining.
You ready to concede the game's over?
Almost.
Okay.
You know, it's funny, though. I was watching the Rams-Seattle game on television, the tape of it.
Right.
I already knew the score, and I'm still saying to myself, there's no way they lost this game. So I've got that in me a little bit.
So again, the streak that is at stake today is the all-time regular season consecutive win streak. And the Patriots would tie the Bears with 17 in a row and a chance to break it next week against the New York Jets. And the Patriots have used their last timeout with 4 seconds remaining in this game. And Bill Belichick's team is used to close games. They've won 19 in a row, coming in by an average of 9.2 points a game. And this one is just a little over that.
Well, Bill Belichick has been absolutely unbelievable. I mean, the job that he and his staff do, getting this team ready to play each and every week. And I say it all the time that when you talk about a league right now, when every week we talk about parity, and yet this team's able to come out and they're not that much more talented than the rest of the teams that they play, and yet they come out and play and they're ready to play every single weekend. I think it speaks volumes for him right there.
But they're the Mariano Rivera of the NFL. These guys close games. They close them out.
Third and goal. The ball at the 2. Time running out. And the pass away. That's the end of the game. But there's a flag down. And if the penalty is against the Patriots, the Seahawks will still have another play, and they will. Pass interference against Eugene Wilson.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 36. The foul. Correction, number 26. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. The period will be extended for 1 untimed down.
So Jeremy Stevens was interfered with, and the Seahawks will have 1 more play. It's a moot point now. With today's football, with the salary cap, trying to judge all of those things, the Patriots do it better than anyone.
Absolutely they do, which is evident by their win streak.
Last play of the game, and the Patriots do not let the runner get in. Max Strong wouldn't get in, and the game is over officially. And the Patriots have won 30-20, 20 straight wins, tying the Bears for the consecutive victory mark in regular season. But what a rally by Mike Holmgren. And Bill Belichick goes out to meet Holmgren after a terrific finish. So that's the final score. The Patriots 30, the Seahawks 20. And we'll be back to wrap things up here from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough in just a moment.